Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and eat your eats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party time. Yeah. Party time.
And there you go, people. That was the Matoid and Party Time. Now, admit it, you didn't like it when I first started playing it, but 4% of you have changed your tune. Right, a couple of little warnings while the OGs are in, because the people who turn up later don't really matter, do they? Let's be honest. Joking. You know, yesterday I said there'll be a very likely an un-narcotic inspired narcolepsy. Well, it's times 2. Have you seen that vein on my forehead? It might not look anything to you apart from a slightly drunk Dr. Frankenstein attempt, but I know that that's a migraine. Not always, but it's just one of the many little signals that tell me I should sleep, I should relax, I should not. I'm not moaning, I'm just moaning. So yeah, I'm shafted, but because I didn't do the stream, that I promised, I thought I'd get this one in. Now, listen, a couple of other things. Have you noticed I am wearing a shirt? What's that? You can tell it's Sea Island cotton. People, let me tell you something. Men especially, but women as well, all 13% of you, smashing it. That's way above average. You can get a shirt made. I know a lot of you don't like the sartorial side of this stream, but I'm guessing a lot of you wear shirts. Let me tell you, you can get a shirt made fully bespoke, not made to measure. Let me tell you what made to measure is. You go into a shop, some bloke who don't know what he's doing gets a tape measure, and he'll go like that, and he'll make some notes. And he is making notes. He'll be like, okay, shoulder to shoulder, like 34, blah, blah, blah. He is actually writing notes. But by made to measure, it's not a lie, but it harbors a deception. Because what it'll then do, let's say one of the measurements is 34, whatever that is, whatever part of the body that is. I got 34-inch dong. It was a penis joke. It wasn't a joke, though. It's not funny. Poor girl. It comes out of her mouth if I put it in too much. Stop it. Just stop it. He'll put 34 down. Then there might be another thing, 28. Then there might be another thing, 52. And he's actually putting those down. But then when that goes to the tailor, because this geezer's just measuring, they fit windows. There'll be a thing and it'll be something like 50 to 58. 50, 51, 52, 58. You're in that window, right? So he ticks that one. You're in the 50 to 58. Chest, all the way round, you're in this window. And you can be 4 or 5 inches out. But because you're in that window, by the time it gets to the tailor, it's not your precise measurements. It's all the windows that they have. So chest length will have like 5 different windows. Like very small, medium, big, very big. And unless you're like anorexic, sorry, I'm not being nasty to people who are struggling with eating, or unless you're a giant, in which case you'd have to go to a specialist tailor anyway, you just fit into a certain series of sizes. So when you then try that shirt on, and a lot of made to measure people these days, they don't even do a fitting because that's a load more money. Why is it a load more money? Because they put that shirt on you. If it's bespoke, they'll put a shirt on you made of some old cheap calico or something, and then they'll mark it because it all needs changing. Of course, it needs changing. That ain't going to fit perfectly. Mark that. That needs taking off. That's a bit big. We need to do this. Blah blah blah. Take that back, and then make the real shirt out of Sea Island cotton. Look into Sea Island cotton because there's real Sea Island cotton. It's very rare. It's very scarce. It is the best cotton ever produced. I can't remember offhand. It's been a while because they last so long and so well. But I think it's something like, I think you want to be something like West Indian Sea Island. Because the thing is about Sea Island, it's to do with not only the quality of the actual cotton is vastly superior. And I've felt it. I've felt a little thing, like a little ball of cotton that's come off the plant, which they have in the showrooms in like places like Holland and Sherry, so you can test it. You can feel that compared with a standard bit of cotton, and you're like, wow, it's obviously a better quality. But when they turn that into fabric, the amount of cotton used, the amount of depth of it, just the production of it is better. Now, you might think, oh, this is all a little bit up your ass. But if you're buying a shirt and you're having it made to measure, get it made out of the best stuff. It will double the length of its life, which will mean not only does it double the length of its life, it stays looking good. You're not things like Sea Island cotton haven't got a reputation through just marketing. It's got a reputation because it's proven itself. The reputation is the product, and it's very rare. There's a few things like that in the world, but Sea Island cotton is one. If you say to your tailor, is this Sea Island cotton, and he says yes, say, where's it from? A decent tailor will tell you. A decent tailor might also lie, but it's worth checking it out. Now, also, do you know why? I mean, these are folded up, by the way. Never do that. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's when I'm streaming and I don't want to put cufflinks on. But do you know why collars are separate and cuffs are separate? Why don't you just have a shirt go all the way down with a button in it or a buttonhole for a cufflink so that you can change them, because they're the bits that get worn and dirty. So after about 5 years, you take your shirt back to the tailor and say, I need a new collar and cuffs. And they put, that's my girlfriend who knows I'm streaming. I'm streaming, you cheeky little monkey.
Monkey, you love me?
I do love you, little monkey, yes.
You're monkey too.
Yeah, I am monkey too. But love, I'm streaming. I've just started, so I've got to carry on.
Bye-bye. Hello, guys.
Hi, guys. See you later, love. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Good luck for stream.
Thank you, love. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go on, good chap. So yeah, you can get your coughs and your colours replaced. So that's another thing. Now here's where it gets to the important bit. People think, right, a bespoke shirt, you'll have two fittings, at least two fittings, because you want it perfect. You want about ½ inch of your shirt to stick out of your blazer, your jacket. You want that nice ½ inch of white sticking out, or whatever colour it is. I'd say go a bit. I'm very much a white shirt man because I tend to have charcoal grey and black suits. But if you've got a light grey suit or even a blue, maybe a pink shirt sounds mad. But I tell you what, if you can pull off a pink shirt, it looks fucking great. A pink shirt with a dark blue blazer, not navy. No one wears navy blue. That's for school. Or a light grey and a pink shirt, just smashing it. Nice pair of light brown shoes. Oh, my days. And look, why you might go, I ain't wearing all that fucking nonsense. You're not trying to impress you. You're trying to impress ladies. You ask a lady. Ask any lady. Say if you had the perfect man and you were going out on a date with him, what would he wear? Do you think she's going to say joggers? Do you think she's going to say a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt? 99% of the time, she's going to say a nice suit. And a nice suit, we've talked about this before when it comes to, the dating game, the semiotics of seduction, courage, bravery. A pink shirt, I'm not talking like fucking Dayglow pink. You might even be able to get like a nice white shirt with like a very subtle pink chalk stripe. But that says to a woman, yeah, I'm confident. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about going along with a crowd. I've got balls. And they see that in an instant. Not all, obviously. Nothing is that absolute. I don't want to have to keep saying hashtag not all. But something to try. So I'll tell you what, people, if you've got a suit and you don't wear it too much, ping me an email and we can start talking about how to bring the most out of that. Because do you know what happens when you bring the most out of a suit? You bring the most out of you. And I'll tell you this, when you're wearing a decent suit and you look good, people treat you differently. Guaranteed. I know it for a fact. I tested it. How did I test it? Because sometimes in Soho, I walked out with my junkie joggers, my fucking mod parker, a dirty old T-shirt and my silly hat. Not a problem. I liked it. But people treated me in a very different way because they make assumptions based on how I appear that they feel reflects my behaviours, that they feel reflects my resources. Resources don't just mean money. It's not just about rich. There are other resources, intellectual resources, bravery resources, having the ability to feel different. That's a resource. Women like that stuff. And women watching this, look, this isn't just about chatting up women. It's just because I happen to be a bloke who's sexually attracted to women. So that's how I can talk. I could try and be some weird libtard and go, well, the thing about women, I can only talk from my experience. I'm not excluding you. I am excluding you, but through ignorance. So there you go, people. I'm telling you, here's the kicker that I almost forgot. When I used to go out in Soho in my rags, people just kind of ignore you. You're a threat to them. Why are you a threat to them? Because you don't care. You don't really give a shit about anything. Look at you. You don't care about your appearance, which is all right. You don't always have to care about your appearance, but people will respond like that and they'll see you as a threat because, you're not someone who's trying to establish themselves as someone with value in the world. When you wear a suit, people open doors for you. People hold doors open for you. People give you freebies in cafes and restaurants. Now, don't get me wrong, getting a free biscuit in Bar Italia is hardly life-changing, but all these little things build up. And again, I'm not, hear me out here. All these things build up. So I'm not saying having a door open for you, having a free biscuit in Starbucks, managing to get an appointment at the doctor's that day rather than next week, managing to get a room at an hotel when they've already said they're... all those things are next to nothing. But here's the thing. All of those things build up. And then you feel better about yourself. Because the world... Because your environment, your habitat, your peers, they're validating you. They're telling you that they value you. It's more sinister than that. They're telling you that they're putting you above them. On the food chain, when someone opens a door for you, or when they're in front of you and they turn around, they see you, they open the door, go, no, go on, mate, you're all right. They're putting you above them. They're saying you're above the food chain. That's what they're saying. They're not just, again, humans don't do things by accident. We don't just do I was just opening the door because I thought it'd be polite. You know, let's dig into that. Thought it'd be polite. Why do you want to be polite to a stranger? Well, maybe you just like being polite. But then why aren't you polite to everyone? Why aren't you polite to the bloke who come along going with a fag hanging out his mouth? No. In that instance, you want to do the opposite. You want to get in that door and hopefully it closes quickly behind you so he's not going to assumedly go through your pockets. So all those little things affect the way you feel about yourself. And then when you feel differently about yourself, you feel more positive. And this is going to sound bizarre. You achieve more in life. That's not just jokes. That's my experience of the world. And it's backed up in many psychological studies as well. I mean, if you're going to question anything I just said, which you're absolutely fine to do, have a look around the world. Have a look on the internet. Have a look at your habitat. How much money do you think is spent telling people that if they buy their product, they're going to be more attractive? Not necessarily sexually, but people are going to want to connect with you. I think it was someone yesterday, it might have been, I can't remember who said it, but someone said sex sells. Sex doesn't sell. Sex can sell, but connection sells. And how do we connect? By being attractive. If you walk into a party and you want to connect with people, what's the best way of doing it? Be attractive. Fame can do that. You can walk into a party if you're famous and you're going to get connection. Walk into a party dripping in gold and stupid Armani suits, it can have the opposite effect. People are just like, oh no, look at Flash Harry over there. But get it right and it's like a feedback loop. Oh, people are treating me with more respect. I must have something going for me. Then you believe you've got something going for you. And that improves the way you talk to people because it ups your confidence. Because your confidence is raised, you are then better able to communicate with people, meaning they respect you more, which means your confidence goes up. It's a feedback loop. So there you go. And while we're here, you're going to also learn. Oh, no, it looks like I bought my crameur instead of my cravat. Oh, no, here we go. Someone asked me the other day how I tie my cravats. Now, I tie my cravat, I think it's called a Henley or a Hendon. I don't know. It's a way of tying it. So I usually don't have a shirt on first. So cravats are pleated. I don't know if you can see that there. See the pleats there? Odin, yes, you can. Tell me what the problem is. If you want one, we can talk about this. So look. So the pleats fold down. This is how I do it anyway. So you have it about that short there and about that long there. Now, different people will do different things, but I like a big chunk of it showing. So I have about that much. Look how little there is there. And that one, I can't even get it on the screen. And then I go over, making sure it stays straight. Oh, making sure it stays straight. over again, and then under the back, like you're tying a school tie, pull it through, but don't tuck it in anywhere. Then open it out and open it so it goes all around your neck. You're still quite tight to your neck though. And then you do up your buttons. Some people will open 2 buttons. So it's like that. And then you just open it up a little bit and you get that kind of look. Personally, I like to do this button up, bring them up, make sure it's all nice. And fucking hell, man, look at that. Couple of minutes work, about 5,000% better looking. This is the stream to be on, people. I mean, it's wunderbar. And guess what? There's something else that you haven't even considered. Watch this. He's drinking a cup of tea. Picard. Your mic's off, son.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Have you ever gone for a cravat?
No, I was just sitting there pondering how many buttons I would have done up if I'd ever worn a cravat.
What do you reckon? Would you be more like that or?
Yeah, I think the less buttons, the better.
I'll show you the option. That's the other option, of course. I think just. I mean, it does get a bit hot out with one, but style has to cope with heat. No, lovely, man. And you know the other thing, of course, and this is why cravats are great in hot temperatures. If I wear one shirt for one day, that collar's going to be like black as fucking tarmac by the end of the day. But a cravat takes all that, and I can wash my cravat by hand every night, you know. Anyway, let me get the fan on because I'm absolutely dying here. There you go. Tilt the chair slightly. Why ain't that on? That doesn't sound right. There you go. That's better. Right, I've got something to... people, we are in for an absolute show among shows. I have started a bit early because I'm going to stop a bit late. Well, I say that, but if the grift's going all right, I'll go on all night. But as I promised yesterday, after yesterday's stream, was it yesterday? I didn't stream yesterday, did I? Was that yesterday? No, that's the one I didn't do. After the stream on Friday, I was up all night writing, and then I woke up at 9 o'clock in the evening, and I just thought I can't do it. I've been writing all day. You know what? I've written 28,000 words in the last 2 days. Now, anyone who knows about writing, 28,000 words will be edited down to about 10,000 words. But then when I work on that, it will go back up to about 20,000. But this new novel is absolutely flying. Have I told you have I said what it's about or anything?
You said it was about you in 1986.
Right, okay. I'm not going to say too much more about it, but to be right, I think I did mention this because my other novel is never getting published unless I publish it, which I will. I mean, it's now like nearly 800 pages. But this will be traditionally published, and I think it's actually got a chance. But that means talking to agents and all that shit, and I hate it. I already looked at submissions guidelines. Lartus will know. Lartus will tell you. You start looking at it, and it's like, we're especially interested in LGBTIQ, and you're like, oh, come on. What you're saying is that's who you're publishing, you know. Anyway, it's not a nice thing to do, you know, and they really misunderstand literature. They're like, write us a 300-word summary in the first 2 chapters. I Lord knows how you... I just don't think that's a good way of judging someone's ability to write. What if I had a publishing house and someone said, I want you to publish a novel I've written? Call me. Let's have a 20-minute phone conversation where you sell me your novel. Because if someone can talk about their novel, they can write it. But no, it's just bullshit. I bet they've got a box of... I bet they've got... You know, they're not interested in grammar and punctuation. And why should they be? I mean, you know, my spelling's terrible, but, you know, we live in a world where that doesn't really matter. But... you know, they'd just be looking for, there'll be check boxes like, who's the protagonist? Is it a man? Minus 10 points. Is it a white man? Minus 20 points. You know, does it, you know, they'll have all these check boxes. Is it a woman? Plus 10 points. Is it a woman of color? Plus 10 points. And at the end of all those check boxes of the first 3 paragraphs, you'll have a score out of 50. And anything under 20, they'll just chuck it in the bin. What they really should do is have a 20-minute phone call with you, as if there's not thousands of English literature students that would do that job for nothing, just for the experience. Anyway, that's my gripe out the way. You know, you've got to smash some eggs to make an omelette. Is that it? You've got to break some eggs to drop some eggs. Anyway, we got 79 people in. We got 3 stars on the dials. Barney Rubble, always in trouble. 54 months. It's been longer than that, Barney. Muchano Kuprishanata Sati for that, Barnster. Packer's been there. Bullseye. It's been longer than that, Packer. Pasha Kanatu. Lovely Pishka. And John Fuse has dropped a Lady Godiva. I could do with some tips, mate. I need to start dressing more grown up. I've transitioned to smart casual, but I'll ping you an email of that. Yeah, for sure. Listen, they fucked us. You look at those old films of like England in like the 1930s or whatever. Everyone's wearing suits. People think that the whole idea of 3-piece suits is Italian. The Italians have done well to sort of rebrand the idea of a 3-piece suit. But that's the classic style, and it's an English thing. That came from England. If you were a 5-year-old kid, you wore a fucking suit. You know, it was amazing. Whatever class you were, yes, the working class suits weren't the finest cloth and weren't the finest tailoring, but they still wore fucking suits and hats and cravats or ties, etc. You know, it's so sad. What happened was we got to, you know, as soon as they invented teen culture, where you're looking at like the 50s, it all went tits up. Look at it now. Thanks for that 5-spot, John. Yeah, ping me an email, chris@chrisdaintrell.com. Happy to help. I can't say for sure I will help you, but I'll certainly do what I can. Nice one, JF. Lovely. John Baudrillard said this amazing thing talking about sportswear and all that luck. And he says that sportswear is not, these ain't his words. Let me see if I can actually find the quote. This will be interesting. Hang on. No, I can't find it because... Hang on, I'm being offered a few different answers here. Essentially, Baudrillard says that when you get out of bed, you get out of your pajamas and then you put on your joggers and your sweatshirt. He says there's not much difference between pajamas and sportswear. And he said, and that is, it's kind of like, it sort of it tells a story of somnambulism. You know, we sleep, we wake up, but then we get back in our comfortable joggers and we live the day almost like we're still sleeping. You know, they're not work clothes. They're not clothes to make you look good. They're clothes to make you lounge around doing nothing. And what a terrible thing to happen to British culture. You know, if you said to a foreigner, someone outside Europe, how do English people dress? It's likely going to be an Adidas tracksuit. That's probably what they'll say. What a tragedy. In about 60 years that happened. I'm not saying everyone should wear suits all the time because life's changed and, you know, that we've got there's a lot of maintenance and things. But actually having one suit, you don't need to dry clean. You know what? Dry cleaning suits isn't good for them. I dry clean my suits about once every 5 years, and only then if I get some ketchup or something that needs cleaning. Do you know why? Because we wear underwear. What's underwear for? It's to stop your sweat getting on your suit. You know, as long as you wash your pants and your vest and your shirt, your suit's going to be fine. I got mates and they're like, oh, I dry clean my suit every 2 months. And I'm like, okay, give it 3 years and you'll be fucking sweeping it off the floor. No, man, you do not need to dry clean suits. So they're actually very easy to look after. And again, like the Sea Island cotton shirts, pay for quality fabric. Oh, Holland and Sherry, that's fucking 600 quid for 5 yards. I can get 5 yards for 90 quid. Yeah, you can. And see what happens to that 90 quid, 5 yards, when you're walking down the street and you've only got one trouser leg. A decent suit will last you 20, 30 years. Imagine. And when you get it made, you say to the tailor, I ain't got a lot of money. This has got to last. Can you do a generous cut so that when I fill out a little bit, you can bring it out a bit? And can you and there's little things they can do on the trousers and that where they can adjust, where you can adjust it manually to account for changes in size. Also, if you get a suit, you get 2 pairs of trousers. I'm going to not talk about clothing anymore. I will do a whole stream about suits, change a lot of assumptions people have got. Ladies in the chat, do you like a man in a very cool suit? Just put a 1 in the chat if you like a man in a very cool suit. Nice pair of polished leather shoes, nice cut, well-fitted suit, shirt, tie maybe not, cravat, maybe a pink or even a dark purple shirt. I know blokes are thinking fucking pink and purple. I tell you what, if you can pull it off, and I tell you what, a pink or a purple shirt does wonders for your face. If you're very dark, if you're very red, you know, you don't want to be wearing a white shirt. I'm very pale. White shirts work perfectly with me. If I wear a black shirt, I look like a fucking pint of Guinness. So, John, yeah, ping me an email. Glass. Did you see what I called you in the description? I hope you did. I spent so long over that. Glass says, I can't stop. I just dropped. I just dropped in to say hello. Sartorial talk. You're looking good in the shirt, Dangerfield. Hope everyone is well. Scrub love. Well, Glass, do you know about the scrub wall? Which is a lovely little segue because I've done a little mock-up, people. I've done a little mock-up. So if you weren't here yesterday, Glass, thanks for that, Lady Godiva. I'm absolutely brassic, so it's double bubble at the moment. Lovely jubbly. So as you know, I'm building an house in the province. I am, the missus is. And I said yesterday, it's almost as bad as the Dangerfield Dollar Drive. But for a 20 quid donation, I will scrape your name, Mr. and Mrs. Me in it. I can't get that old long one. If you want your 20 quid back, let me know, but it can only be names because obviously a lot of people are going to start saying things like, oh, can you have, I've been a scrub for 5 years and I love it here. It can only be a name, as you'll see on this mock-up. Thank you, Emma. If you're going out tonight, don't forget to sync. Have a look at this, people. Have a look at the mock-up. So poor. So poor. Here we go. These are all the people who are already on the wall of scrubbage. Check it out, Packer. Can you see it, Packer? Is that on the screen, Packer?
Yes, we see that, yeah. Ravenscroft, Pax
We've
Max,
got Brian
Packer.
Ravenscroft, we've got Packer, Pax Max, JP, the me in it. Oi, if you're here, AAA, I got it in my little book, but I wasn't sure whether you wanted AAA brick or brick SE5. So let me know and I'll correct that. We've got Jack London and we've got Anglo-Saxon there as well. Amazing. I'm happy to add as many more. It's just a score and you will be etched into the house of my future. And then when I'm finally a famous author and the whole world adores me, You'll be one of those lucky people who can say, I've got my name on his drum in Cambodia. You can tell I'm in marketing, can't you? Because I haven't got a clue. So thank you for that, Emma. Thank you, Mr. Fuse. Thank you, Packer. And thank you, Barney Rubble, for your memberships. Absolutely lovely. 90 people on the firm. Hello, Pags. Hello, Crow. Just tell him you're a mum. Hello, Ragnar, if that is your real name. Special K is on the firm. Lovely to see you. Did I say hello, Baz? Hello, Toffee. Toffee. Oh, yeah, Toffee said something interesting. So yesterday I mentioned the football. Did I ask this question already? At the beginning of the stream, did I say, put a 1 in the chat if you like football? Now, predictably, loads of people are going to go, sports ball. But I said something yesterday and Toffee left a comment. And it was I'm glad that I don't know what he thinks about it, but England invented football. The Premier League is considered the best league in the world. Now, you might not like it because it's become exceptionally corporate and exceptionally diverse, but the European Champions League, that's European, is considered the best club competition in the world. People who are into football prefer the Champions League to the World Cup all day long. It's a European thing invented by the English. Yes, it's become diversified. Yes, it's become corporatized. But in a culture war, you do not hand over territory just because it's changed, because it can always change back. If you give it away, I'm not interested in that anymore, you can have it. Well, then they've just won. Imagine trench warfare. They've just gained 20 yards on you, and then it'll be something else. Then it'll be something else. You win a culture war by keeping hold of culture. You know, you don't have to like football, but understand these are the things we're fighting for. These are tangible elements of the culture war. Yeah. And that's why I get angry about it. You know, I'm not happy the way football's gone, but I love football. If you are into football, people, let me know what you thought of the... I mean, I am a gooner, so I'm a bit biased. Declan Rice, 2 free kicks. Good Lord, what the fuck happened there? But this year's Champions League has been one of the best football competitions I've ever seen. Absolutely incredible. Special K is always in work clothes. Yeah, but Special K, I'm sure sometimes you go out on a date or you go out for dinner or you might go out on your own. You know, just one suit is all it takes. Just get one suit. I mean, not if you don't want to. If you don't want to, no problem. But I'm telling you, it's life-changing. Few sights and sounds. Hello, brother. A few British men now dressed like... I don't know if I can say that. Right, I've got a load of wicked clips for us, people. I've got some really good stuff. I've got. Oh, hello, Mike. Long time no see. Mrs. going to be well on to me if I start going on. Mrs. is going to be well on to me if I start going about in a suit. What are you suggesting? She's going to get a bit suspect? Yeah, but that kind of backs up my story, doesn't it? My birthday suit is falling apart as I get older. It certainly is, yes. Peg says that Keck is a one-legged trouser. Chris, what would it take to bring the ascot back in style? Well, that's an ascot, isn't it? Isn't the way I tie my cravat an ascot? Style never goes out of fashion, son. You wear an ascot. Your friends, because they're threatened, will go, what the fuck? When I first went out, one of the first nights I went out in Cambodia, I went out with a scrub who used to live here. And we went into this boozer that his mate owns. And as I walked in, he went, fucking hell. He went, who's this, Biggles? Or is it Biggles or Buggles? Who am I talking about, Packer?
Biggles.
Yeah, like the old aircraft pilot with the sort of dressed like an Englishman, basically. He went, who have you bought with your Biggles? And all his mates went, no. I went, no, I'm an Englishman. Silence. Absolute silence. I went, no, I'm an Englishman. And it just done them. Fuck them. How dare you sitting there in your wife beater and your fucking Adidas shorts? Jesus. I mean, calling me Biggles, the amount of things I could have called them, but I didn't. I just said, no, I'm an Englishman. Spanish chicken's on the firm. Absolutely lovely. Livy's on the wall. Livy's on the wall. Livy, you're going in the book. Livy, what do you want? Just Livy confirming another comment, not a super chat. I'm sure my man Packer will keep an eye out for. I mean, you can do another super chat. I'm not going to hold it against you. I'd love to hold something against you. Not really. That was just rude and dirty. Is Livy JP's missus, or is this just something, or is this a rumor?
Do you not know?
Do I not know, or you don't know?
Yes, it's just Livy. She would like, yeah.
Okay, there you go, Livy. You are on the wall. Amazing stuff, Livy. This could really backfire, couldn't it? I could end up with an house with like 1,000 names down one side. My missus would be like, that'd be like having an house in England with loads of Khmer text all over it. Nice one, Livy, though. Much appreciated. Great call. You are going to be etched into history. Nice one. Hello, Joshua. Odin's a scuba for life. Joshua Kavanagh says American. Is that in response to the American style that came over to England in the 80s? Is that what you're kind of saying? Well, 70s and 80s, yeah, without a doubt. Toffee says football's important to my business. I make more money when Everton and Liverpool are playing at home. Oh, that's interesting. Well, are you a ticket tout, Toffee? All the ticket touts down where I go, they all speak in your accent. How much, mate, for this match? 500 quid, mate. What? Something's got to pay for these fucking gold teeth. Anglo says Stoke City, the second oldest professional football club, Notts County 18. I mean, it's madness, isn't it? When you look at, when I'm watching something about football and it says the last time Arsenal drew against Leeds United was 1910, you're like, fucking hell, man. No other countries can have those kind of claims. I just look, people, I don't care whether you like football, but I do know that the majority of you understand that we're in a culture war. And if you ever use the phrase culture war, you need to understand what that is. It's not people on fucking TikTok saying, my pronouns are Zeza. No, it's culture. It's fighting over cultural territory. That's what it's about. Spanish Chicken says that the English invented tennis, cricket, rugby, football. I don't watch any of it, but we still done it. Yeah. And we're pretty good at most of those as well. I'm not a fan of rugby, but again, I'd support it all the way. Are you all right, Anglo? I'm always happy to correct a typo. Oh, I tell you what, did I show you that Jeremy Fragrance bloke? Did we have a look at that Echo? He's amazing, man. Just in case I didn't, let's have a little look at him. What a dude, man. This geezer walks into any room and people are up to their ankles in female juices. I'm sorry to be so crude, but Jesus. You check out this geezer. I mean, talk about winning the lottery. He's got the accent. He's also a multi-millionaire. Now, don't forget, people, the geezer's YouTube channel is I've got loads of other clips. I'm just improvising here. He's made his fortune talking about fragrances, which you'd think was quite a feminine thing. I'll tell you now, the ladies love this bloke. They adore this bloke. And we're men. Most of us are straight men. We got a few gays here. Props to the Scrubs gays. But this geezer, I'm gonna find any video because I know he does this weird thing where he clicks his finger and does like a 360. To a heterosexual man, it's like, hey, The women adore it. There's going to be the odd outlier. Oh, that's not for me. But check this geezer out. Right, let me just find one. I'm just going to find one. Let's have a look at. Why can't I see if I go to videos, popular? Here. Right, this geezer. Check this geezer out. Look how just check this out. You won't like him. Do you know why you won't like him? Because he's a massive threat to you. He wins the women. He's an alpha male. And he's now put in a social situation. If you've got the gab, you could alpha him out. But he's got that appearance. So he's winning for you. You're battling from the outset. He's already established that he's winning. You can, prize women away from him, but you're already on the back foot. Yeah, I'll check out a bit of Jeremy and his 3 million subscribers. How many of them do you think are women? Fragrance channel. Here we go. Let me know you can hear it, Pete. Or let me know if you can't hear it. That would be silly. I will do, Livy. Don't worry. It will be Livy. Thanks, Livy. That was lovely. Here we go. Check out Jeremy. I'll mute myself so there's no echo. I mean, can we just... I mean, the balls of this bloke. We're 7 seconds in. He hasn't done anything. And do you know why? Because he knows people are adoring him. And he's got it's not even that, even if they're not, the fact that he's got the confidence just to do nothing, just to ponder his position on the planet, it's just marvelous. I've got a feeling, I haven't seen this video, well, I might have done a long time ago. I've got a feeling he might be building up to his little twist, but maybe not. Right, I won't interrupt again. I probably will.
What's up, guys?
10 seconds before he spoke. 10 seconds before he spoke. Goes against all the rules of YouTube. They will tell you on YouTube, as soon as your video starts, you want a hook. What was his hook? What was his hook? I'll play it again. His confidence.
What's up, guys? It's coming, guys. Jeremy here. Boom!
Wow!
And today...
Wow! Wow! He knew that people are waiting for his little turn and his clap. It's coming, guys. Don't worry. One more time. Amazing. What a geezer.
What's up, guys? It's coming, guys. Jeremy here. Boom! And today is an important day for you and for me, guys. The top 10 most complimented fragrances, the best, most appealing, sexiest fragrances that are currently on the market, updated. You know, this is my 3rd video. Every year, this is the most requested, the most.
Right, and this is why I really played that. I've done a little bit of a social experiment here, because now I'm going to have a look at what the comments were about Jeremy there. Right, let's have a look where they started. Right. So, Anglo, neutral, Barclay vibes. Yeah, Barclay's a good looker. Special K, not wearing a cravat. Grego says, "Oh, just bum him already." The suggestion there being that if you can understand male sexuality, you must be gay, which is very simple projective psychology. I mean, Grego, if you feel like that about him, crack on. Baz says he wears his favourite type of shirt. What is it, the pinstripes or the difference between the pinstripes and the collar? Monty wants to know if he's AI. It's an interesting comment because he's near perfect looking. He won the genetic lottery for sure. I don't know whether Mousecat's talking about this bloke, so I won't comment. He got that from Uncle H. Nothing wrong with borrowing styles. Grego says you went a whole hour not speaking on YouTube. You were sleeping, mind. There you go. Baz says he likes him, but he's acting too much. But if he's acting too much, why? But you like him, so I'd suggest he's acting enough. Do you see what I'm saying? Bill says gay. I mean, Bill, you and him walk into a bar. Do you think the women in that bar are gonna go for you and call him gay, or do you think they're gonna fucking be up him like a rat up a drain pipe while you're sitting on your own going, he's gay, he looks gay to me? Ridiculous. Hans says a little bit of a man whore. Yeah, absolutely. What is a man whore? It's a man who attracts women. But legit, absolutely. VC, I don't like him. He's only said about 5 words, and I understand why you don't like him, because he's a massive threat. He pulls your wife. That's why you don't like him. I'm being hyperbolic there, but of course not. Men don't like attractive men. Why would they? They're competition. Handsome but irritating. Same reason, yeah. Yeah, he's irritating. Why? Because he wins. He wins. That's why he's got 3 million people watch him talking about fucking perfume. There you go. There you go. Jackson French wants to slap him for the same reason. He's competition and he's winning. Not a dude I'd hang with. He doesn't want to hang with you, though. He's got his pick of the bunch. Unless you're, yeah, he's busy. Good call, Packer. He's busy. Tame the cunt. He does. Don't worry, he does. This has got pretty gay. I mean, what a wanker. I mean, look, I knew all this would come. What has he done to make you think he's just a nice bloke? He's just he's just a bitch magnet. Hence all the negativity. I need to find a bucket. He's horrible. Yeah, because he wins. I've switched off. There you go. And it goes on, knob. There you go. There you go. So that was my point. Hello, Charlie. And that was kind of my point, really. That spin messed his hair up. I think he comes in at about 6'3". Daniel, he's funny as fuck as well. I would advise some of you to watch some of his videos. He's aware of what he's doing. He's not like ignorant to how he comes across. That little spin he does, like when he at the beginning there, it looks like it's coming, people. And then he doesn't think that spin makes him cool. What makes him cool is that he knows that spin doesn't make him cool. He can still get away with it. It's got him 3 million subscribers. It works. That was excellent. I just had absolute faith that would happen. I'm going to put I'll put the link to that video in the chat. But people, go and have a look, and you'll see he's actually a really funny bloke. And I'll tell you what, a night out with him, I mean, he's not the best wingman, to be honest with you. But a night out with him, you are going to have such a laugh. His understanding of the semiotics of seduction are second to none. You are going to have a great night out with him.
He's a great wingman, because he'd have about 30 women around him, and he can't possibly deal with all of them.
Yeah, but you're going to be the ugly one. I remember
Right.
when I hitchhiked around England once. It was the summer holidays, and I thought I ain't staying at my mother's for 6 weeks. So I hitchhiked all around England. At the time, I got dreadlocks, dirty army clothes. I got one of those penguin, you know, the crop jackets with the long backs. You know the ones? They're cropped at the front, but they go like, you know, like a dinner suit sort of deal. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Like the penguin wore. I think they're called penguin jackets. Although it would appear penguin has become a brand. Anyone know what they're called? Yeah, one of these locks. Yeah, I know you can't see it. So think about it. I've got my dirty, smelly dreadlocks that hadn't been washed in about ever, because you don't wash dreadlocks because you're a stinky old scratter. Yeah, one of these boys. So I've got one of them on, but I've got green army trousers, a pair of army boots, my dreadlocks. On the back of that jacket, it says in purple writing that I had a girlfriend stitch on, "Don't panic, it's only Sansaric," which is something out of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. What a useless hippie I was. And generally an unhygienic drug addict. And what I was essentially doing was going to university towns, like I've done Cambridge, Oxford, Manchester, Liverpool, York, and then find the student bar, pull a bird, and that way I got a bed for the night. And I got one bird, and I was in her bed, and we had a little bit of in out. It weren't great, you know. I could barely see beyond the end of my nose, but we done it. And afterwards we were having a bifter, and she went, "It always happens." I went, "What?" She went, "All the men in the world, and I end up with a tramp." And I said to her, "Well, maybe that's your thing." And she was like, "Well, that's what I'm worried about." The morning sex weren't so bad, though. She stunk as well, though, bless her. Horrible, like cabbage downstairs it was. And that weren't me. That weren't anything I left there. Anyway, sorry about all that. Right, that was an interesting little experiment with Jeremy Fragrance. But people, check out his channel. You will have a laugh. He's really funny. When he starts talking about fragrances, you know, if you're a bloke who's making videos about fragrances, you know, he can say, "Oh, that lovely kind of tobacco, it's got wood, it's got that kind of old leather," but there's only so many times you can liken it to other smells. So occasionally he'll sort of say, he'll say something like, "You know, I like to call this one the mistress." You know, he goes, "If my wife sees me put this on, I have to have a shower." The mistress. Great stuff. And it's interesting because much like you, and this is why I knew it would work, much like you, I didn't like him for the same reasons. But he grows on you. When you realise he's aware of who he is, it's a completely different thing, you know.
We're not
Anyway,
having to tell any of the ladies here to go and find him, are we? That's not actually necessary, is it, at this point?
they'll struggle. I mean, I think they're going to have to join a rather large queue. And while they're waiting, I imagine a couple of scrubs might get a look in. Ladies in the chat, out of interest, you know, apart from your husband, partner, or whatever, who's your ideal man, ladies? You know, living or dead, but obviously, I mean, when they were alive. But any man throughout history, who's your ideal bloke? Don't say me because it'll, you know, upset the blokes. But who's your ideal man? And men, who's your ideal woman? You can put any. Now, just in case there's partners listening and all that, we're not including your partner because obviously they're top. And I say that as a kind of joke, but I also mean it. I told my missus the other day, I said, I think you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And I say it to her a lot. And she went, come on. I said, no, I mean it. And she's like, oh, come on. And she got a lot of pictures up on her phone. I said, they're very beautiful. I said, but none of them make me feel like I feel when I look at you. And she started crying. And I meant it. I absolutely meant it. I know there are women who have got more traditionally beautiful faces and bodies than my missus, of course, obviously. But no one makes me feel like she does when she smiles at me, when she's bucking me like a... you know the rest of that. So, yeah, let me know. I'll be quite interested to see who's... So let's go. Let's see. I know this is a bit dry, people, but it'll be quite interesting. Oh, people they're not holding back, are they? Grego, I didn't share that, but I tell you what, Thingy Bob, I haven't seen him here in a while, worked it out. I'd put too much information out there and he worked it out. And I'll tell you what, I wore it today. 2 people mentioned it. 2 people stopped me and said, what is that smell? 2 today. I haven't worn it for a while because you get used to it and you can't smell it. Like I hadn't smelt it for a couple of years, so I've been using that one that got thrashed in England, Le Labo's. I can't remember what it is, but it was being pumped into the fucking entrance halls of all the members clubs. It was so over thrashed in England, but out here no one knows it. So I've been using that. But today I went back to my old faithful. 2 people. First day I've worn it in months. 2 people. What is that smell? And I lied to them both. I dropped enough clues, Grego. I can't remember his name. Willow Wookie. That's it. Sorry, mate, if you're here. He triangulated a couple of little things I said. He emailed me, bless him. He didn't make it public. And he said, is it blah, blah, blah? And I was like, wow. So the answer is no and yes. Right, here we go. I did also have a top hat, but that was before I got the tailcoat. That's what they call tailcoat. I did have a top hat, but top hat and dreadlocks, it became a bit of a cliche in '88, didn't it? And I thought, I don't know about that. And they're not very manageable either. Sean Connery, Billy Blogg's favourite woman is Sean Connery. Sheila likes Paul Newman. It's those blue eyes, isn't it, Sheila? A good-looking lad, without a doubt. Margot Robbie. Is it Margot Robbie or is it Margot Robbie in The Wolf of Wall Street? If you know what I mean.
I think it's Margot Robbie. It's perfectly fine.
No, without a doubt, a beautiful woman. But when I've seen her interviewed, I'm a bit nah. But that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where she shows him what he ain't having any of, that's fucking next level seduction. James from Philadelphia, his favourite bird is Clint Eastwood. Okay. Cheers, Grego. Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, good call. Keanu Reeves, good call. Sheila says mouse cat. Oh, Anglo. Do you know what? I never... Oh, should we watch it? Should we watch it? We've got to watch it, haven't we? You know what I'm talking about as well, don't you, Anglo? Hang on. So I think we're back at this part of the cycle. We've done this before. I never is that gonna? Yeah, here it is. I never saw much in Selma Hayek. Anglo said Selma Hayek is his top woman, right? I never saw much in her. Didn't care for her. And then I watched Dusk Till Dawn. You know the one?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to miss a lot of it because hang on, what crap? They've lied to me. That ain't it. Wow. This might be it. Right, I'm gonna have to miss a fair amount of it just because otherwise I'll get yeeted. But this is. It seems like they're fucking it about a bit. All right, we'll give it a go anyway. People, if I get yeeted, you're going to get a thing come up on the screen saying this stream has had a content match which is against our blah, blah, blah. But just stay here, make a cup of tea or something, because in 3 minutes, you don't have to go anywhere else. In 3 minutes, the stream just starts again here. But I'm going to risk it. This is the Selma Hayek dance from Dusk Till Dawn. I never thought twice about her until I saw this. So I'm going to risk it. People. Do you reckon I should risk the audio as well, Pack? I might as well. If I'm going to get yeeted, I'm going to get yeeted. But people, if I do get yeeted, give it 3 minutes, it comes back. Here we go.
Her eyes, a distant firelight burns bright, wondering why it's only after dark. Find myself in her room, feel the fever. Oh, I do. Falling through the floor, knocking on the devil's door, yeah.
I'm just going to pause it so that I don't get yeeted, but also there was I'll get back here, but there was a shot very early on here. And I just want you to notice this shot because Tarantino's no fool. Female sexuality, there's certainly no more, there's nothing more powerful against men on the planet than female sexuality. Tarantino does it 2 or 3 times in this clip. You watch, I'll play a little bit and I'll pause it and you'll see what I mean. Hang on. And Tarantino made a choice to do it. Watch. Like almost turned to stone. There's a geezer here who lifts his beer, but everyone, including the other women, they're turned to stone. They cannot move. They are transfixed. Selma Hayek is casting a sexual spell on them. It's absolutely incredible. Let's look at that little bit in context. And now I'll put it back to where we were. But look out for these bits because, again, they're not there for no reason. You know how films are made. He wouldn't have said, just have a shot of the audience. He would have said, I don't want you moving. Be transfixed. I wouldn't be surprised if Tarantino didn't say to them, imagine you're fucking her. Because she's not there when he's moving this camera around. She's probably having a cup of tea or something. But he would have said, imagine you're banging Salma Hayek or whoever. And that, it's like they've seen Medusa. They're turned to stone. It's incredible. Again, almost motionless. I do have a little bit of I know I'm interrupting it, but I'm just trying not to get yeeted. I am a little bit peeved that the director chose himself to be the one that she pours vodka or whatever it is down her. Probably, what is it? What's the Mexican drink? What's the Mexican one, Packer?
Tequila.
Yeah, it's probably tequila. I'll tell you what, when I was in Patong, I went there with Gizzy Erskine. She's a TV chef, and they fucking hated it because Patong's a hole. We went to this bar. There was a dancer on the bar, right? Like 8-inch stilettos, a pair of knickers, nothing else on. And I ordered I think it was a gin and tonic, and the woman slid it along the bar in front of me. And the woman dancing, she held onto the pole. She put her stiletto heel in my drink and stirred it.
Good God.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I've taken too many risks. We'll leave it there. But I tell you what, there's so much going on there semiotically. You know, even her drinking it as well. He's had a drink, she's had a drink. It's got a bit of Adam and Eve about it. They're both taking poison. Alcohol's a poison. It changes the way we think. It makes us. It releases inhibitions. But do you really need to have your inhibitions released when you've just walked on stage semi-naked with a snake round your neck and fed someone booze on your toe? It's just an incredible scene. And because of that, A Woman I Never Looked Twice At Before is, without a doubt, that scene in my top 10. Good call, Anglo. Great call. Let's see what the scrubs have got to say about all that lark. Special K says ick. Tarantino has a foot fetish. He has now. Yeah. Monica Belushi, yeah, great call. All Good Outside says, Dangerfield, I always thought that the ideal male physically was a director and actor Yahoo series. If I could change bodies with him, I'd be happier for it. I don't know who that is. You have to give me more things. Billy says something awful. People are tapping up Willow. Willow, that's between me and you, mate, please. Not very high. I mean, you know what? You could give me, Salma Hayek could give me syphilis if it meant doing that to me. Jesus, man. The human body is there to be disturbed. That's why we live and that's why we die. If you die healthy, you haven't lived. She's fit, but I wouldn't let anyone put their foot in my mouth. Good Lord, hang on a minute. What, you haven't put your face in a woman's fanny? I mean, I can assure you there's more bacteria there than there is in a foot, especially if it's on a film set where they probably surgical spirited it. Tarantino's definitely got a foot fetish. He done it in Jackie Brown too. Okay, there you go. Visionary Companion says, sorry, I think this is lame as fuck. VC, you're not into the ladies tonight, are you? It has to be said, but that's all right. Blog says dirty. James has got wood. Willow, if I remember rightly, but I stand to be corrected, I think it was I think Rodriguez and Tarantino, that one done dusk and one done dawn. Let's check it out. I may be wrong there. Who directed From Dusk Till Dawn? I may be thinking of a completely different film. Dusk Till Dawn is a film directed by Rodriguez and written by Tarantino. Good call, Willow. Good call. You still can't help but think that Tarantino cast himself in that role, though. What's the one where one of them directed half of it and one of them... Does anyone know what that film is? One of them directed half and someone directed the other half. There you go, Odin. Exactly that. There's a quote. I think Hemingway... I think there's a quote from Hemingway and it's something like, the body is a map of... I don't know, but I don't know. I can't think of it. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on.
Eddie Bates says Death Proof. Is it that one?
Is that the one with the woman with one leg? That's a great movie, that is. Hello, Eddie Bates. Hello, Woodsman. Yeah, it's one of those grindhouse movies, perhaps. Let me see. Here we go. I found it. It's Hunter S. Thompson. I might have even done it on one of my quotes. Hunter S. Thompson. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, wow, what a ride. Yeah, man, FP to Hunter ST. Amazing, amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, don't fucking kill yourself, but it's a bit like the whole idea of all the planet's dying, we're killing the planet. No, we're using the planet. It's the planet we're on. Oh, you keep digging all that coal and using all that gas. Well, who else is going to fucking use it? We need it. And it's the same with the human body. You know, when you go out and have a lot of beers or whatever you like to do, even, you know, like some people drive Formula One racing cars, it kills them. You know, that's what they wanted to do. They enjoyed that. They took that risk, and that's what life's about. If you know, it's like, you know, you see these people in health food shops, they always look like they're half dead anyway because they spend their life eating mung beans and air. But, you know, you have to, you know, take a few knocks on the way, because when you take a few knocks on the way, you're actually putting yourself at risk occasionally. Anyway, let's finally get to the clips. Right. Can we have some love for Packer, please, people? Stick a P or a Packer in the chat. He's so good. When he can't come, and it's only been like twice in the well, his missus might argue that, but when he can't come, and it's only been a couple of times in the last sort of 6 months, it's a very different stream for me. You know, what a perfect co-host. Says nothing, has no opinions. When I ask him something, he just bats it back at me like it's almost like he weren't there. And admit it, Scrubs. When Packer's not here, you're a little bit like, yeah, I'd prefer it if Packer was here. Give him some love, people. He's a great bloke and he deserves it. And, well, thank you, Packer. Thank you very much. You've changed this stream immeasurably. I mean it, man. Take the praise. Just say thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Men can't take it, can they? They cannot take praise. Look, he don't want any of this. Right, I'm going to show you something that I can't even work out. I like to think I know my semiotics, but this has blown me. Look at all the love for you, man. Packer, say thanks, everyone. It will save you typing 30 thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
There you go.
Pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, now I can't take it. Now, enough of that. Shut up. Right. So, listen, I'm going to try and give you my interpretation before you watch it. So, this is a TikTok video, right? And it's some kind of Asian. It might be Korean. It might be Thai. I don't think it's Cambodian. Let me just see if I can find out, actually. Oh, it is. I think it is. I think it might be Khmer, actually. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Anyway, so this is a woman showing how rich and successful she is. But she's trying to speak English, but she keeps saying things like, thank you very much. It's really weird. Now, there's not a lot of it because it's a TikTok. It's 57 seconds, but this is weird. This is the product of a nation that has been stamped on for centuries and is suddenly coming into money. Now, it could be just forged. A lot of these TikToks, oh, can we rent a Lambo for an hour and the camera crew make me look rich? But this woman is barking mad. Check this out. And really try and listen to what she's saying. Thank you. Thank you for you. Thank you for you. It's nuts. I wonder if I can get it any bigger. You know what TikTok's like. It's always in the vertical. Hang on, people. Right, that's about the best I can do, I think. Hang on. No, I can't make it any bigger. Right, here we go. Now, why is there no audio? Right, here we go. Sound. Check this out. So the whole idea is I'm rich and successful, okay? Can you see it, Packer? It's on the screen.
Yep.
I'm going to play the whole thing through, people. Turn your volume up and just have your mind blown.
Thank you, Kazaki. I'm home. I like Abbas. Thank you, Kazaki. This one. Bit more, Kazaki. Thank you. How are you, Kazaki? Good? Thank you, Kazaki. This one. And I have some more here. Thank you, Kazaki. Hi, girl. Yes, bye. Shopping a little bit. See ya, girls. Bye. Thank you, Kazaki. I feel so good today เราไปกินเค้กแตงโมกันต่อค่ะคุณเจกี้เอาไหมคะเดี๋ยวออนทำเค้กแตงโมให้ค่ะ Thank you. This one for คุณน้อย This one for you and here for me. Okay. Thank you, Kazaki. I'm home.
What was his name?
Can we just thank you for taking. Thank you for taking. What the fuck was that? What? That's the whole video. I'm gonna make a video where I get my shopping out. Thank you for taking. What do you make of that, Packer?
I think normally she just gets out, barges past him and tells him to get the shopping as she walks in.
What, you don't think she says, thank you for taking this one for you?
Not normally, no. It didn't seem very real, did it?
Well, that's what worries me, because if it is, she lives her whole life like that. You can imagine her having a dump in the morning. Thank you for taking. Right, what have we got? Now, this is a risk, people. Now, I don't run adverts on my channel because I don't want you to have to suffer them. But I don't want to get demonetized because I'm Brassic. So I'm just going to say, apparently Susan Wojcicki died. I didn't know this. Susan's dead. I said this the other day. And everyone was like, well, that's a shame, but maybe YouTube will go back to what it was in the glory days of 2010. Rumor is the new bloke is worse than Susan. However, this is a video that was on YouTube. And I'm just saying, whoever's replaced Susan, I don't necessarily agree with what Mark Dice is saying. I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm not promoting Scrubs. You know, I've got to say all this because when it comes to appealing it, I need to, you know, the reason I'm showing this is because it's had nearly 400,000 views. Mark Dice has got nearly 2 million subscribers. So it is an important conversation. Scrubs, be careful what you say in the chat because this is YouTube's gonna light up like a fucking Christmas tree when I play this, and they will be looking at you and they'll be looking to, because they don't want people who agree with this sort of stuff on YouTube. So I don't agree with this. I think it's an important subject, and let's just see what someone like Mark Dice has got to say about this subject. It's an 8-minute video. I will interrupt a bit and we probably won't watch it all. I'll give you the link to the whole thing. The video is called Everyone is Tired of Them. Okay. Thank you for taking.
Countless millions of Americans are experiencing what's called black fatigue, which the Urban Dictionary defines as the deep mental exhaustion from being forced to care about black people and their actions 24/7. More specifically, the crimes of black people, those kinds of actions, which everybody knows they're only 13% of the population, but commit over 50% of the violent crimes in this country. We're not supposed to say that out loud because that's considered to be a numeric hate code. That's hate speech because facts are hateful. The rapid increase in black fatigue stems from the tragedy of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old high school student who was killed at a track meet by this creature because they got into a slight disagreement about where this individual was supposed to be in the wrong place. And so he did what thugs do and acted like an animal. White Lives Matter was trending on Twitter, on X.
I'm sure most of you know what happened. There was some kind of athletic event and the different teams had different tents where they prepare and get changed and all that. And that fella that we just saw on the screen there, he went into the wrong track meet. And there was a bloke in there and he said, mate, this isn't your tent. You know, this is team A or whatever. You're meant to be over there. And for absolutely no reason, it escalated and this geezer killed the other bloke.
Thugs do and acted like an animal.
And I don't know if it's on this video, but there's a GoFundMe for this bloke, and it's currently about $250,000. That's right, they've raised money for a man who took a life unnecessarily.
Animal. White Lives Matter was trending on Twitter, on X, earlier this week, which, of course, the Jewish ADL defines as a white supremacist phrase because people are finally getting tired of the black crime problem in America. The Thugs family held a bizarre press conference yesterday with their new spokesman, this clown who...
Right, this is absolutely insane. Look, I can't say this for sure, but looking at his outfit and looking at the outfit of the bloke, this geezer in the red tie, let me know in the chat if his outfit and his look reminds you of anything. I just want to see whether it's just me. But it would appear that that is a certain aesthetic that historically, well, there's a historical precedent for that kind of look. It is Malcolm X, but Malcolm X got it from another, well, let's just see.
Of course, speaks Ebonics, and Austin Metcalf's father showed up to the press conference not to cause problems, not to heckle the family for raising such a degenerate son, but probably to show support and sympathy. I'll show you a clip from him in just a moment. We have to have tremendous sympathy for him and for their family, but he really doesn't understand what it is that's going on here. Here he is just before the press conference kicked off, being told he has to leave by the police under the direction of the Thugs family. The press conference hasn't even started. This guy's just doing a microphone check, but he was told by them that he has to leave.
So just in case you didn't get that, the father of the murdered child, teenager, turned up at the press conference. Excuse me. He wasn't being aggressive. He wasn't arguing. Because the information hasn't been released, we can only assume, and again, it's conjecture, but the thought is that he went there to sort of try and say, look, let's not make this a race issue. It's a terrible tragedy for both families. And yet this geezer here decided to use it, decided to leverage it in a way that you just will not believe.
Afterwards, this is what the perpetrator's family's spokesman had to say about the victim's family.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that is inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Oh, it speaks to his character, all right, because he probably wanted to give them a hug and forgive them, because this is, and I say this with all due respect and all due sympathy, This was his ridiculous statement shortly after the tragic event.
It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being.
The liberal pathogen.
This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a
If you have to say it,
black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate.
it is political, it is a race issue, and because you tried to spread the liberal pathogen, they hung you out to dry.
Appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online.
Oh, it was a race thing, sir. If black communities and mainstream black culture in America wasn't synonymous with thug culture, where they celebrate and glorify pimps, drug dealers, and killers, then your son would still be alive. Supporters for the killer have raised.
And let's not play that down. I mean, look at hip hop. What does it do? It glorifies drug dealers. It glorifies murder. It glorifies crime. It glorifies pimping. It glorifies actual misogyny, not the misogyny that's thrown around willy-nilly because of toxic masculinity. It's insane that this actually goes on, and it's all just like, well, it's only music. You know, all their Facebook pictures, they're holding guns and that, but you know, it's only music.
Is nearly $500,000 on his GoFundMe page,
Holy
and a
crap.
lot of the comments.
So I underestimated that. $500,000. That he has raised $500,000, which would suggest to me that's people saying, "Well done."
On the page from the people who are donating are absolutely despicable. They see him as the new O.J. Simpson. They know what he did, but they want him to get off because of their deep-seated hatred and spitefulness towards white people.
And if you don't know, years after the O.J. Simpson trial, many of the black jurors on record being interviewed said that they were always going to say not guilty because they wanted the black man to get off.
Like this person who posted that when they were Carmelo's age, they would have had to get up and not say a word. God bless this young man. If you missed it, this fight stemmed from Carmelo being in the wrong tent, and then he was told that he needs to leave. And so a lot of people are equating him with Rosa Parks now. Here are some more words of wisdom from the family spokesman.
Nobody.
By the way, before you watch his family spokesman, who's got nothing to do with the family and stepped up and decided to go in. And by the way, the reference I was talking about was the Nation of Islam. Yes, they wore red bow ties, but it's a black jacket, white shirt, red bow tie, and short cropped afro. He's, you know, for that other bloke to say this isn't political and this isn't race based, I wonder whether he heard this talk before he came up with that absolutely ludicrous what's the word I'm looking for, conclusion. It's absolutely mad. And also I would suggest, if you don't know, I mean, you've probably all heard of Rosa Parks. The idea is that in the Jim Crow days, there was segregation in America, and on buses, black people had to sit at the back and white people sat at the front, or the other way around. And Rosa Parks decided, I'm not having this, I'm going to sit wherever I want. And she was considered a hero, and she changed everything. Look a little bit further into it. Rosa Parks was not just a woman who's saying, I'm not taking this anymore. It was an organized event. They auditioned for people to play the part of Rosa Parks. There was protection provided so that it didn't kick off. It wasn't a spontaneous event. It was an organized political stunt.
Everybody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
When you say he shot 3 people in the back, you mean he shot 3 people in the front. There's a slight difference in that, which is kind of important.
Actually, the videos show that he shot them face to face as they were attacking him
There you
because
go.
his life was obviously in danger. Someone's life isn't in danger when you're at a track meet and someone tells you you're in the wrong tent and maybe even gives you a little shove on the shoulder to kind of encourage you to get out of the way. Of course, every white person in America who doesn't have the liberal pathogen and black people who have assimilated know this, except for Tim Pool, whose beanie must be restricting the blood flow to his brain.
For one where he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team.
So he's reading someone else's comment and then he'll give his take on it.
Tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then
that person says, hey, get out of the way, and gently shoves you on the shoulder. You're not allowed to then pull out the gun and shoot them, Tim. This case may actually be a tipping point because of
Not quite sure why you'd be carrying a knife to an athletics event.
a lot of people are expressing their black fatigue. And for the last couple years now, people are finally starting to get over the fear of being called a racist by pointing out the systemic anti-whiteism. And up until recently, really the only way that people could address their black fatigue was through comedy, like this classic South Park skit. This is Randy Marsh on Wheel of Fortune.
An N and a G. And the vowel? An O, please. Okay, well, looks like you're going to get a lot of help here. Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep
It's
quiet.
a classic.
10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
Well, I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Nick.
Now, I bleeped that, but when they actually did air it on Comedy Central, they did not bleep that, surprisingly.
You get the idea. I'll put a link to that video in the chat. It's definitely worth a watch, and it's actually kind of interesting because I think I've said this over the years, but I think the tide is actually slowly turning. I'm certainly seeing it. Whether it's, like even in the UK, they're essentially trying to make nationalism illegal. Look what they've done in France to Marine Le Pen. Look what they've done in, what was it? We talked about it the other night. Oh, I can't remember that Eastern Bloc country, somewhere in the east of Europe. They just banned the opposition. It's just insane that the nationalist political parties are being banned. Insanity. And you've got leftists collaborating with rightists to keep the so-called far right out. I mean, what kind of government's that going to be? You could almost call it I'm not going to say that. Nice one, all good outside. Yahoo Serious starred and directed in the film Young Einstein. I know the thing. Though the most beautiful dude I ever saw was Dill from the movie The Crying Game. That's that trans, isn't it, in The Crying Game? Yeah. Yahoo Serious. Is that really doofy looking bloke? Yahoo Serious. He's a strange looking fella. I mean, unfortunately, all the pictures I've just got up, he's very old. Yeah, good looking lad. I'll give you that for sure. For sure. I'll tell you, if I had to choose a bloke that I thought was the most good looking bloke, it would have to be Matt Dillon. I think Matt Dillon is. I wouldn't be dissatisfied if I looked like Matt Dillon. Nice one, all good outside. The grift hasn't been great, people. Don't forget, you can get your another brick in the wall. It's only 20 sovs, and when that wall goes up, and when the axe comes down, and there's no more bricks in the wall, you won't be able to do it again. I'm just going to check. Oh, actually, let's do this. Let's present, share screen. I'll just do this quickly. Hang on a second, people. Sorry. 1 second. Right, here we go. There you go. Don't forget, you can hover your camera over that If you hover your camera over that, a link will come up on your camera screen. You can click that. You can no, it's not. Oh yeah, good call, Packer. That is working. Well done. And if you donate through that one, I've also put that at the top of the YouTube chat with the entropy link as well. So if you want to do it and you've missed this, you can find it at the top of the YouTube chat. Anyone who donates through that one and they take the least money away, you get a video reply. So after the stream, I see whoever's donated there and you get a little chat from me. And it's not an automated thing. It's I'll say hello, blah, whatever. So there's that. But if you want to use that and you can't get your phone over that in time, it is pinned. It's the pinned comment under entropy. There you go. There's that. Right. More clips. Let's get clipping. But that's nuts, isn't it? I think in the chat, Scrubs, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not really and 10 being absolutely. Where are we as a people when it comes to not standing for all this? What could we call it? Well, what Mark Dice was talking about. Are we on the turn where we're starting to say, no, bollocks, I've had enough of this? Between 1 and 10, let me know in the chat. I'll be interested to see what you've got to say on that. Blogs is in here. Hello, Latus. I need to talk to you, actually, Latus. I need to talk. Oh, Latus, you know what you said about all this LGBT stuff and the fantasy stuff? Luckily, I used to have a literary agent, and I've got friends who are literary agents, so I can just email them, and a few of them ignore all that submission stuff. But you're so right. Some of the agents I've looked at, submissions are closed for this year unless you're LGBT or a BIPOC. And next one, submissions are closed this year unless you're BIPOC. One of them was so obscure, it was something like, unless you're BIPOC, or it was something like, or West Indies. And I'm just like, what? And I don't know if you know this, Latus, and this will be interesting to everyone. In Canada, Penguin, you know Penguin, massive publishers, and Random House, massive publishers, they actually ended up in court on a monopolies thing. They got together, so it's now Penguin Random House. I think I've told you this before, but listen to this, people. It's nuts. Right, so in the current age, you can't send your manuscript or a sample. Usually you send a summary of about 500 words of what your story is, and then you send the first 3 chapters. That's the standard procedure. There's obviously slight variations with different publishers. Now, for very small publishers who are going to print 500 or 1,000 of your books, and they're going to do next to no marketing, they expect you to do all that with your social media, whatever. You know, it's hardly worth doing, but some people do well out of it, I guess. I mean, even if you sell 500 books with traditional publishing, you're looking at about 7%. So let's say that you say it's a £10, 500, so that's $5,000, 7% of $5,000. I mean, what is that? What's 7% of $5,000? Someone put it in the chat. I'm sure someone with a maths brain has done that immediately. Was it Romania? Lata says minus
350.
350. So even if they sell all 1,000 of the books that you've done the writing for, you've done the marketing for, you're getting 350 quid. So what you have to do, you have to go to an agent, because the big publishers, they don't want thousands of manuscripts being sent to them. So they want to filter. So that's what the agents do. Agents do get thousands of manuscripts sent to them. They've got people to read them. They only get through about 3 paragraphs and then they go, nah, this is shit. Nah, this is shit. Some of them don't even get through the summary. They're like, this person can't write. This is shit. Now, Penguin Random House in Canada said, I think this was about 6 months ago, they said, we're opening up submissions without, you don't require an agent, right? Now, Penguin Random House are huge. So everyone would love Penguin Random House to publish their book. They've got the contacts. You'll get a New York Times bestseller. You know, New York Times bestsellers, they're not based on how many books they've sold. There have been New York Times bestsellers that have sold less than 1,000 copies. It's just a question of who you know. You can literally go for dinner with the bloke who does it and say, oh, listen, help us out, will you? I've published this new book. It's a bit shit. It's not getting much traction. Can you give it this month's bestseller? And they're like, yeah, no problem. Seriously, there are books that have got New York Times bestseller, like strapped on the cover, and they've sold less than 1,000 copies. It's not based on sales. Not just the New York Times one as well. A lot of those so-called bestseller lists. Right. So Penguin Random House, they said, you don't need an agent. You can send us your complete manuscript. So not even a summary in 3 chapters, 200, 300, 400 pages. And we'll go through them and we're going to publish 5 or 6. It's something like 5 or 6 of them. Now, let me tell you something. The amount of people who think they're good writers and the amount of people who want to get Penguin Random House Canada to read their stuff, I'd guess they're going to get 100,000 manuscripts, 200,000 manuscripts, if not more. Who's going to read them? Logistically, just logistically, say it takes 30 minutes to get an idea of that manuscript. 30 minutes. So to do 10, to read 10, that's 300 minutes, which is what? 5 hours, is that? 60, 120, 182, 40. Yeah, 5 hours. 5 hours to read 10, just a little bit. So I'll tell you what, and I don't want to get sued, but this is what I'm. Oh yeah, I've missed the most important bit. You can send your manuscript without an agent to Penguin Random House, but only if you're LGBTQI+. So everyone else, no. But if you're queer or whatever you are, one of those, I don't even know what those things are, you can send it straight to them. But there is not a chance on God's earth that those manuscripts are getting read. And I am going to suggest they've already got the 5 books by LGBTQI+ people that they're going to publish. This is a marketing blag. This is a scam. They're doing it because it's free marketing. And I've seen it being talked about on literature websites, on forums about writing. Everyone's talking about, wow, Penguin Random House, you don't need an agent. You can, it's just a marketing thing. Of course, they've already got the books they're going to publish. All those manuscripts that get delivered to Penguin Random House, oh, we've got another one in the skip. Oh, we've got another 20 in the skip. They already know they're publishing. I'm guessing, I've got no evidence, but I just think logistically that ain't happening. What a swizz. What an absolute swizz. Hello, Maltese Elvis. How are you? Well, I've accidentally written a commercially viable one. The other one I'm going to publish myself, but it's so fucking complicated now. It's a Mandelbrot set. It's stories within stories within stories within stories within. It's so complicated. It's a fantastic novel. I mean, I think it's the Ulysses of the 21st century. I'm not even joking. I'm so arrogant. But why wouldn't you be arrogant? If you're going to spend 9 years writing a novel, you'd kind of expect. I think it's fair enough for you to think it's good. Why would I still write it? I said on Substack the other day, I said, I'm writing a new piece of work and it's the best bit of work I've ever written. And you should think that. Because if you don't think that, you should write something else. It doesn't matter. Imagine you're starting a new story. No, it's not that good. Well, stop it then and write something that is good. But I've accidentally written a commercially viable piece of work. And I've told my girlfriend, I've said, don't worry, love, I'm going to earn us an absolute fortune and everything's going to be all right. And because she doesn't know a lot about these things, she now thinks that's going to happen. So I'm definitely putting the work in. Right, clip to clipters. Where are we going next? We have got... Right, Warren Smith. I've made a lot of videos about Warren Smith lately. This is really weird. I'd love to know your thoughts. And I'd love to know your thoughts because... Oh, actually, sorry. I was just going to Oh, what's happened? I was going to quickly just see if anyone's donated on Buy Me a Coffee because they deserve their props. Oh, no, that was yesterday. We're good. We're good. But if you do donate on that Buy Me a Coffee, I will see it and you'll get your shout out on this video. Right, people, watch this. I want to know your thoughts. I will keep an eye on the chat. Packer, if you see anything of any particular interest, let me know. So it's Warren Smith. He's basically saying if you could build a wall that would stop the fentanyl coming in, do you know that much, if you filled that with fentanyl, you could kill everyone in America? It's so strong. And what the dealers are doing, the cartels, they're putting fentanyl in everything now. They're putting fentanyl in cocaine, as well as fucking, what is it they put in it? It's a animal dewormer. It's called cocaine animal dewormer.
Ivermectin?
No. It's called levamisole. Now, listen to this. When I used to be dealing cocaine, you'd get it from Peru. Peruvian flake was the best cocaine in the world. When you make crack out of cocaine, you're essentially taking the hydrochloride salt out of it, so you're left with the pure cocaine base. It's been called crack since the 80s, but before then it was called freebase. Why? Because you freed the cocaine base from the hydrochloride salt, because you can't smoke cocaine because of the hydrochloride salt. Take the hydrochloride salt out of it, you can smoke it. Smoking cocaine hits you harder than injecting cocaine. Cocaine hydrochloride was invented for injection, but you've got so much lung, there's so much, your lungs are so big, they've got so much pull on them, that if you can smoke it, it hits you harder than IV. It really does. And trust me, I've done them both several times. But what people would do to me, they'd get me to test the purity of their cocaine. So they'd come round, I'd weigh off 3 grams, then I'd crack it. The word crack comes from chemists. It means to separate an oil from a water or other things from other things, but essentially oil from waters. Things that usually need an emulsifier to separate them. So you weigh off 3 grams. You can either do it with bicarb or ammonia. I'm not telling you what. Don't mess with crack. It will ruin your life. Crack done more damage to my life in 6 months than heroin did in 30 years. But once you've cleaned the hydrochloride salt out, you let it dry and then you weigh it. And then if it weighs 2.8 grams, you know that that 0.2 of it was hydrochloride salt, which is about as strong as it gets. It doesn't measure the strength of the cocaine base. You can still get 2.8 grams out of 3, but it could be actually not very strong base. But in terms of weight, it works. I think I told you before, when I used to do it, I'd engage them in conversation. And when they weren't looking, I just flick bits over the wall and all over my kitchen. So when I weighed it back, I'd be like, oh, there's only 2 grams. That ain't that good. And when they'd go, I'd find all the bits I'd scraped up on the wall. Anyway, but now, and this was unheard of, in the Bolivians, the Peruvians and the Colombians did not cut product at base. They did not cut it. That was all done, 4 or 5 levels down the ladder. Usually sort of second order street dealers, people selling like half kilos, 9 bars and ounces. They'd do the chopping and the cutting. But now, and this has been going on for about 5 years, the Bolivians, the Colombians, and the Peruvians are cutting at source with this levasimol, and it is rotten stuff. It rots your insides. And DEA tests have shown that last year, 89% of all cocaine seized had levasimol in it. If you're a regular cocaine user and you're getting the best stuff because everyone's getting the best stuff, it's got levasimol in it. Google levasimol. Stop using it. You can't wash it out of it either. It gets through a crack rinse. That's one of the problems with it. You can't get it out. Cocaine's over as a drug unless you want to die. It's a dangerous drug anyway. When I used to go to NA regularly, people smoking crack and shooting cocaine would die. They were dropping like flies. But with this levasimol in it, let me get the pronunciation right. Levamisole. Look up levamisole. It rots your insides. So I know you're getting the best stuff because everyone gets the best stuff. You're not. Most cocaine's been trodden on 4, 5, 6 times before it gets on the street, usually with inositol, sometimes baby powder. But it's got levasimol in it, and it will rot your insides. Stay the fuck away from it. It's horrible. If you must do a stimulant, amphetamine's better anyway. Don't do drugs, people. There's very few good things about them. Smoke a bit of weed or something. Anyway, I shouldn't even say that. Don't do drugs. Right. So that was, I didn't mean to go down that route. So Warren Smith talks about if you could build a wall on the southern border that stopped the fentanyl coming in on the southern border, and people always go, what about the Canadian border? There's nowhere near as much fentanyl coming across the Canadian border as there is on the southern border, which is right next to Mexico and, of course, the whole of South America, but also all the human trafficking. So he says to his mate, if you could build a wall that would stop the trafficking of people and fentanyl, would you do it? His answer is nuts. Check it.
The hypothetical was if you could stop it with a wall. I'm not an expert on the efficacy of what this wall would look like or border security, but so that's why we're using a hypothetical. If it could, would you build it? And you said you still wouldn't build it, even if you knew it would solve the problem. And I'm fascinated to explore that idea and just trying to.
So even if this bloke knew hypothetically that a wall would stop the trafficking of people, which honestly, people, what an evil thing to do. They drug those girls and those children up. They make them dependent on opiates. And when you're dependent on opiates, trust me, you'll do fucking anything. You'll fucking dirty Liz and all that lot. Once they're dependent, they'll do anything. What a life. If you could stop that, if you could stop the fentanyl, would you do it? And his mate said no. I'll take it back again.
The hypothetical was if you could stop it with a wall. I'm not an expert on the efficacy of what this wall would look like or border security, but so that's why we're using a hypothetical. If it could, would you build it? And you said you still wouldn't build it, even if you knew it would solve the problem. And I'm fascinated to explore that idea and just try and understand it a bit more.
No.
This is a really good one. This is interesting. I didn't expect that answer, I'll be honest.
Would you... All right, so would you think it would solve all of your problems if you built a wall around your property here? So you're keeping everybody away, okay? And you're happy, and it's not about anybody else.
Yeah, I can answer that.
Not about the greater good, collaboration, communication, whatever, diversity. I just want to be safe here.
Yeah.
Would you feel fulfilled?
What a ridiculous equivalent. Well, if you could build a wall around your house, would you do that? Duh.
If there was a cartel surrounding my house, actively trying to break into my house, I would feel more secure with a wall around my house. Yeah. I don't know if it's...
Whoa. Okay, so All Good Outside says, Dangerfield, as an American, it is not an accurate picture of how most people feel that is reported in the media. Can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but it's potentially an interesting point. I mean, if you don't want to, obviously don't, but it seems potentially interesting.
It's a matter of fulfillment as much as efficacy and security. It's not as much a philosophical, subjective thing. But yeah, in that scenario, I would. Yeah.
So
would you not?
Would any country be able to do that? Just live like little enclaves?
Sorry, what do you mean?
If every other country in the world would follow that example of just building a wall because we want to keep those guys away,
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, we're going to build a wall. We're all going to build walls.
It's a valid point.
Now we're going to live in.
Yeah, we already do that. It's called the nation state. It may well not be a physical wall, but what do you think the fucking military is for? What do you think the nation state is? It's a territory that's protected where some people are included and others are excluded, you dolt. I mean, I feel sorry for Warren here. Warren ended up jettisoning this bloke because Warren's first videos were chatting with this bloke who was another teacher at his school before he got sacked for teaching kids how to think critically. But he ended up getting rid of this bloke, and this video is a prime example of why. I mean, what that bloke just said, oh, what? So every country's going to build a wall around itself? Yeah.
In our own.
Every border.
It sounds to me like a dystopian future, right?
Every border doesn't have the same amount of activity either, though.
Yeah,
so
but the general consensus.
The Canadian border. I'm not an expert on this, but I don't think the amount of human trafficking fentanyl coming across the Canadian border is the same as the Mexican-U.S. border.
That's a question on poverty and.
Well, the point is that the issue exists, and we're trying to figure out how to best solve the problem.
Right.
You can talk about the motivating reasons why the problem exists.
Do you think building a wall is the solution, or are there other solutions?
You dozy bastard. He said, hypothetically, if building a wall was a solution, would you do it? He didn't say, do you think it would be a solution? He said, if it was, would you do it? And this donut's answer was essentially, what do we need borders for? You know, why should we have nations? It's essentially kind of passive globalism that he's sort of suggesting.
So can you articulate a better solution?
I'm not in the position to articulate a better solution. That's why we don't elect people who want to build a wall. Because we realize that there might be better solutions than building a wall.
But the fascinating thing I can't get over is the fact that even if you knew the wall would solve the problem, you still wouldn't build it because
it's a world that I don't want to live in, that is enclosed between walls.
No, and you want to live in a globalist world where there are no borders.
Because it's a world that I don't want to live in, that is enclosed between walls.
So you'd rather live in a world where there are drugs coming across the border and human trafficking, people dying in the process?
I'd rather live in a world where we are trying to find solutions that are not restrictive.
What are you talking about with solutions that aren't restrictive? Solutions are restrictive. What this geezer's essentially asking for is no borders, which is another way of saying no nations, which is another way of saying globalism.
Like the best possible solution.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to find the best possible solution. I'm presenting you what I No, I shouldn't say what I think it's, but in this thought experiment, this would be a solution. Like it would.
This would be a solution.
Can you provide an alternative though? I'm presenting you a solution that will solve the problem. You're choosing not to take it, and you don't even have an alternative solution besides the larger pursuit of another solution. And that's just fascinating.
I'm not in the position.
Yeah, Woodsman, it's a fair point you make, but what he's saying is assuming it did work. That's the hypothetical. You know, a wall isn't just a load of bricks. It would also be, you know, there'd also be people patrolling it. There'd be some kind of radar systems going on. You know, there are. I think what he's saying is, if we were to, if there was a, if building a wall and all that entailed did stop human trafficking and did stop the movement of fentanyl, would you do it? And this bloke, classic liberal pathogen, is like, well, no, because that's bad. That's separating people. You know, that's saying that we're us and they're them, and I don't like that. Well, okay, but at the cost of millions of people being sexually trafficked, sure, great. And that's liberalism in a nutshell.
To formulate a solution on this because I am not in a position where I can.
But you are declining the solutions.
Yeah, because present me a different solution to the drug trafficking.
Why do I have to present you a different solution if there is?
Do you have a solution?
In this thought experiment, there's a solution.
Outside of this thought experiment.
But
I don't agree with this thought experiment.
Okay, so
not because of the drug trafficking.
If we take
problem,
it outside the thought experiment, then it's become a political conversation that we can do that. But this is fascinating. This is really interesting.
It's fascinating because this Burke just can't grasp what, you know what, people, I hate this. I don't hate, I try not to hate, it's a waste of energy. But when we watched that Peter Boghossian thing the other day, and he said it's a thought experiment, and Warren Smith, and I like Warren, you know, I've made a load of videos using his content recently, but this whole thing of thought experiment, it suggests something very weak about our culture. It's not a thought experiment, it's thinking. That's all it is. It's not an experiment, it's thinking. The fact that we've now got this idea that we do thought experiments. Do you think Socrates and Plato, when they were hanging around in the polis in the Greek city-state, said, let's do a thought experiment? No, they thought.
This is a really good one. This is interesting. I didn't expect that answer, I'll be honest.
What answer?
That you wouldn't build, like if you could solve a problem, you still wouldn't do it because there's other ramifications and you're taking into account other things. And that's fascinating.
Doesn't it make sense though?
I'll be honest,
no.
No,
but do we want to
Not
divide
yet.
the world even more?
I understand that. I understand what your point is.
That's I guess my main point. Do we want to?
Ideally, it would be great to live in a world where we don't need where we don't even need guns. That would be great. But unfortunately, that's just not reality.
There are many places in the world where we don't need guns or borders.
Where?
Take Europe, for example.
Oh, you fucking idiot. What, there's no guns in Europe? I was offered a Beretta for 300 quid.
So, because there's people with guns in Europe.
Do you want to get specific on numbers compared to the US? Because that's a very, very, very...
Well, when you make a statement that I'm fascinated by that. There's places in the world that they're so peaceful, they don't need guns at all in those countries. Well, what countries are those?
Nordic countries in Europe.
Nordic.
They don't have guns.
Most countries in Europe.
There's no criminals with guns. Do they have police there?
Yeah.
Do the police carry guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about civilians.
Okay, that's different. This is good though.
I don't understand.
That's
So
interesting. Wow. That's fascinating.
In a country where nobody would, unless you're like hunting.
I'm still just stuck on the wall thing. That's fascinating.
What?
That you wouldn't solve if you knew it would stop the flow of the most deadly drug we have ever seen and human trafficking, which causes people to be raped in the process, children be trafficked. but the only thing you would have to do is actually to execute the building of a big wall. You would still choose all of those things.
It's a bad
rather
example.
than building that wall.
It's a bad, for instance.
I'll stop it there, but Ray's machine has absolutely nailed it. That's what I thought. I got about 3 minutes into it, Ray's, and I thought Warren isn't enjoying this conversation. He's not learning anything from it. He's absolutely blown away by this bloke's idiocy. That's absolutely what I thought. I'll put the link to the old video in the chat because it's definitely worth a watch because it just carries on like that. Warren's just like, are you nuts? You know, it's much like the whole children trans thing. You know, I'm born in the wrong body. No, you're not. Well, how do you know? Because it's your body. Well, I want to change it. Well, okay then. But that's not logical. You know, I want to be a giraffe. I mean, it won't be long, people, before people are turning into giraffes. Funny enough, I might have a video racked up for that. Yeah, there's the link in the chat there. Definitely worth a watch, people. What have I got here? Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. We'll lighten it up a little bit here. Where are we? Let me just find this. Right. Oh, Jed bought another. Jed, you bought 2 futures yesterday. Oh, you bought 5 futures yesterday. Oh, and you wanted. Oh, Jed, I didn't notice that. Jed, you're on the brick list. Sorry, mate. Thank you, Jed, if you're here. I didn't realise that, which is why you weren't on the. What is it? Can I have a burr plastering brick? I'm not sure what that is. You can have Jed. Right, what was I going to tell you? There was right. So we're lighting things up a little bit here. This is amazing. Let me just see if I can find the picture first. Right, so we all know Rachel Zegler. She absolutely demolished Snow White and, you know, cost Disney an absolute fortune and ruined that movie by her endless outspoken nonsense. But there's one clip of her face. I mean, she's a pretty woman. You know, she's not really my type, but, you know, she scrubs up well occasionally, I think it's fair to say. But there's this one picture of her. You've probably seen it because, how am I meant to find it now? Oh, you'd have thought that would have been easy to find. I wouldn't be surprised if she hasn't employed one of that. You know, you can get these companies that can get stuff removed off of Google, so it's like page 100. So that it essentially it's disappeared off the internet. I can't believe I'm having to type in Zegler's ugly face. Just loads more pictures of her. Anyway, there's this one bit where she was caught off guard a little bit, and she's sort of going like this. Right? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Do you know the one packer? Have you seen it where she's sort of going? She looks like she's just done a couple of, she's ripped a couple of B loads. Could anyone in the chat tell me if they know the picture I'm talking about or whether I'm culturally... She may well have been singing actually, Greg. Oh, that, where she might have been sort of going, a fish on a hook. Anyway, so let me show you this. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's it. She's gurning. Oh, Willow, that's one of the worst things ever, isn't it? Weird. Oh, she's so dislikable. What a terrible shame. Have you seen that one where she says, and if you don't like it, just click the unfollow. I don't need your business. $300 million down. Yeah, maybe you do need their business. Yeah, it's a meme, right? Yeah, okay, so we all know it. Right, check this out. Now, if you've already seen this, apologies, but I saw this yesterday and I was just blown away. Check this out. This is great. A little bit of light-hearted, video. Right, check this out. It's a TikTok, so unfortunately it's going to be quite small on the screen. I don't know why can't I make that any bigger? Control and plus. Why is it making it smaller? Well, here we go. That's made it a bit bigger. Right, here we go. Hopefully I won't have cropped too much out. Have a look at this. This is brilliant. Here we go.
Memed to hell right now. They have taken this stupid looking picture.
So that's her face. One eye is kind of shut, but her bottom lip is sort of like this. It's like it's sort of pushed forward, you know. So it's not that, you know, she's a pretty girl, but it's just an unfortunate photo. But like Lara said, it became a meme. But look what someone's done. This is brilliant.
Of her, it just turned into this AI meme, and it's so much better than the movie.
I kind of want something other to eat.
Well, what would you like?
You got any biscuits for sale in there?
Well, no, this here's a Frosty Cream. We don't serve biscuits.
What you got in there is good to eat.
Well, we got Big Chief Burgers, Bongo Burgers, Footlongs, Corny Dogs, Frosty Shakes, Creamy Bars. Did you want me to go through the whole list?
Reckon what you like to eat in there?
Well, the French fries are pretty good.
French fried potatoes?
Yep, French fries.
How much you want for them?
So they're 60 for the medium and 75 for large.
I reckon I'll have me some of the bacon.
Rachel Zegler is getting memed to hell right now. They have taken this stupid.
I love it. I don't know why I love it so much. It's amazing. I'll take the French fries. Right, where are we going now? What have we got here? We've got this here. We've done Zegler's ugly face. Right, I'm no fan of Tim Pool. I don't really dislike him. The problem with hello Abstract Steve, that's it, an underbite Pags. I'm the problem I have with Tim Pool is a bit of a flip-flop. You know, Tim Pool makes the most super chats on any YouTube. He's the highest super chats. It used to be Nick Ricator before he abused his kids and gave cocaine to his swingers parties, allegedly. But yeah, apparently, Tim Pool is a multi-millionaire. I've got nothing wrong with that. Fair play to him. Well done. I've had 7 super chats in 2.5 hours. But this is, I've got to make the screen small again now. Right, so it's another Warren Smith, but put a 1 in the chat if you know Luke Beasley. Luke Beasley. Do you know these new? They're these new youngsters. You've got. Who's the bloke? Harry Sisson. You know Harry Sisson. Everyone knows Harry Sisson. Well, and there's another bloke. Harry Sisson's got another mate whose name I can't remember. They talk really fast. They've got that thing. I had it when I was 18. I thought I knew everything. I'm happy to say that because I'm not 18 anymore. But the thing about ignorance is you don't know what you don't know. You know, if you don't know something, you don't know it. And what you do know, you do know. So you think, I know everything because you know it. Do you see what I'm getting at? I've said this on this channel loads of times. So Grego says the Island Boys. So you've got Harry Sisson, you've got his weird mate, and that Harry Sisson has been caught sending dick pics to like 13-year-old girls and all, allegedly, and all sorts of naughty things he's been getting up to, and it's not looking good for him. Can anyone remember his mate's name? There's what? Let me just see. It's not that important, but There's another one. There's two of them. Harry Sisson. Does anyone know his mate's name? It might be Dean Withers. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. But there's another one, right? There's another one. He's one of these new Star Whiz kids. He can hold his, yeah, exactly, Woodsman, the Dunning-Kruger, exactly. There's you know, they think they can hold their own with anyone, but they can't because they're stupid. And you've only Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, hilarious. Who can handle Ben Shapiro anymore? Fucking hell, all that Daily Wire stuff is so, it's just cringe, man. All right, Ben. Ben Shapiro, don't get me wrong, he had his glory days and he done a lot of good for a certain movement, but his time's long gone now. So anyway, there's this new fella, Luke Beasley. And because all these young teenage girls, and I say young because they're not 17, 18, they're 13, 14, that's their audience. And to a 13-year-old, a pretty 18, 19-year-old who's on like loads of big podcasts and YouTube channels, you know, these are like the Justin Biebers of current day. And this Luke Beasley is one of them. Watch Tim Pool tear him to pieces, not because Tim Pool's particularly bright, because he isn't, but with some very fundamental, just obvious questions. This is beautiful. And it's a Warren Smith video, but that's good because Warren Smith, he edits them well. That's why I like using them. So check out this Luke Beasley. He's considered the new wonder kid of the young left, yeah, the young Democrats. This is shocking. Enjoy.
Luke Beasley just gets torpedoed by Tim Pool because he pretends to know what he's talking about and he gets absolutely trapped.
What do you mean, George Floyd? What happened with George Floyd? Are you going to make the fentanyl case? I'm not going to make it. I'm going to ask you what you think happened. You're the one who brought it up. I was just curious what your belief was about.
So that's him. That's Luke Beasley. I mean, look at him. You know, look at the geezer's just never done anything. He looks like he was born yesterday.
Yeah. I think that someone kneeled. I think
he brought it up, and so he asked you about it, and then you asked him back. And I'm just curious about what your opinion is on it.
I think you don't have one. I think you don't know what to say.
Again, people, I do have to interrupt it, but I won't interrupt it for the sake of it. I do have things to say. I just want you to clock his face. This was the moment when he realized this wasn't going to be. Mousecat says needs a cravat. This is the moment when Beasley realized he weren't going to get an easy ride on this show. Hang on, there's one little expression. Hang on.
Absolutely trapped.
What do you mean, George Floyd? What happened with George Floyd? Are you going to make the fentanyl case? I'm not going to make it. I'm going to ask you what you think happened. You're the one who brought it up. I was just curious what your belief was about it. Yeah. I think that someone kneeled. I think
he brought it up, and so he asked you about it, and then you asked him back. And I'm just curious about what your.
There you go. He realizes this is all. It's been like 24 seconds, and he knows how many people watch Tim Pool. He knows he's got all his fucking prepubescent girls watching him and loving him, and he knows it's going to go very, very bad.
Your opinion is on it.
I think you don't have one. I think you don't know what to say.
When trapped, he tries to act as though
you haven't got an opinion. I think you don't know what to say.
So he's maintaining the frame with sarcasm.
If you can't define what any data that stop it. If I stop what define it. Define it. If I stop define right wing.
If I took the time to properly write out a definition.
The same technique David Pakman uses. This guy has spent a lot of time with David Pakman. Some people call him a David Pakman.
Remind me to show you a David Pakman clip in a minute.
Clone, because he's using the same techniques, but they are weak techniques and they just dissolve.
I'm only going to speak on things I'm very informed on, so I'm not going to tell you
well, you ain't going to be saying anything then, because you know Jack.
exactly to the month that they should get.
If you don't have a thought on how long they should be in prison, it's
Do you
fine
notice
to
that this is
say
what you do a lot. though?
it's fine to say
like
if we don't know how the
if
pardon.
your argument fails, you're just gonna ask hyper specific, slightly irrelevant questions.
Hyper specific. You can take hyper away because specific already means hyper specific. So this idiot Beasley is saying, well, if you want to get specific, well, yeah, because that's what argumentation is. It's about being specific.
Tool. How is it irrelevant?
And Luke Beasley just continues to play stupid. It's this dismissal of evidence that is so alarming, and which is why I think this debate resonated with so many people.
How is it irrelevant? Because I don't think it's relevant for me to figure out, because I didn't sit in these courtrooms and listen to the details of every case, exactly how long each one should
How
be.
could you advocate for someone to be in jail if you don't know?
Well, I can tell you. Because Trump is saying we should subvert that process because he thinks what they did was patriotic and should then pardon them.
Trump.
So he's saying that the people, the insurrection in inverted commas, they should have been in prison. Although he doesn't know how long for, because he wasn't in court and he knows nothing about the so-called insurrection. Right. Now that will work with children who watch CNN, but not even the most superficial analysis. It just won't stand up to it.
Trump's not conducting these pardons because he feels that what occurred on that day was good. I think it's that he feels that it was unfair. That's a big difference.
Or
I think 3 years is long enough.
Yeah, and that's a wrong stance, but okay.
How is it wrong?
I just explained it to you.
No. You didn't. You said the court process should play out the way it is.
You could literally count in this exchange how many times Luke Beasley says, I just explained it to you, therefore I don't need to articulate it again. It's like Tim Pool does a good job of not letting him get away with that. He says, no, you didn't. Explain it to me.
My opinion on the amount of time should be served for a crime is not just wrong because you like courts.
No, I get
you
that.
need to explain
I'm saying
why the time frame I'm asserting should be longer than 3 years.
No, I'm saying the default, you have to have overwhelming, compelling evidence that someone has been wronged to justify a president stepping in and saying, I'm subverting the justice system outcome.
What, like Biden?
Pardoning Hunter Biden disproves that argument right there, because where's the clear evidence that there's something deeply wrong with the accusations against Hunter Biden? That was just a family member taking care of his son, like because he made that decision that was what he wanted to do.
Do you agree with that premise?
No.
That's immoral.
So you're making a fascist argument.
That's beautiful. To tell a young Democrat you're making a fascist, and he is making a fascist argument, by the way. That is a fascist argument. And look at his face, because that is the face not of someone who's thinking, what a ridiculous thing to say. That's the face of someone thinking, shit, Tim Pool wouldn't accuse me of making a fascist argument if he can't back it up. And I'm about to be exposed as someone who has fascist views.
A fascist argument?
You are, and listen, if ever you're in a debate and someone repeats back to you what you've said, they're buying time. Never accept it and call it out. So, stop the debate. Say, can we just stop here? Please stop repeating back to me what I've said. My memory is good enough to know what I've said. And then when they do it again, call it out again. Because they won't stop doing it, because it's almost unconscious. They need to buy time. And the more you point it out, the heavier, the more gravitas of your accusation counts. The heavier it hits, the harder it hits.
Making the fascist argument that the hierarchical structure of government is just and should be upheld regardless.
Why? Okay, I'm not going to ask that.
This Luke.
I'm not even going to answer that, which is another way of saying I don't have a contrary position to that.
He's the guy clearly is leaning into the story he wants to be true. This is where Tim just lays into him.
If you've got somebody on a misdemeanor charge who's been held without trial, a pardon makes perfect sense, unless you're a fascist and the system is just. So it's like Benjamin Franklin, who said it is better that 100 guilty persons escape than one innocent person suffer. You've taken the Otto von Bismarck approach of it is better that 10 innocent people suffer than one guilty.
That face, man. Yeah, it's all over, mate. It's all like this is going to take you a long time to build your reputation up, if ever.
person escape. No.
I'll take it back so that you can hear all of that. Sorry.
Unless you're a fascist and the system is just. So it's like Benjamin Franklin, who said it is better that 100 guilty persons escape than one innocent person suffer. You've taken the Otto von Bismarck approach of it is better that 10 innocent people suffer than one guilty person escape. No.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you have.
No,
right.
I
So,
haven't.
so
People
no,
didn't talk
stop.
about
You don't know
are-
anything about these January 6 cases. You don't know why these people are in jail. You don't know that a man is in Brooklyn right now for 3 years without charge or trial. And when Donald Trump says these people have been held for too long, you say, no, Trump is wrong. Keep them locked up. That's fucking fascist.
This is a perfect example of someone choosing to be confused when it suits them. It actually takes effort to be this confused by such simple concepts.
Why did Trump justify violence?
I thought we just went through that.
We didn't. I asked you for examples.
He said it again. We just went through that. No.
You said, I don't know.
This
Just
is
squint
really
at me.
weird.
Tell me what you think.
No,
It's like whenever you don't have an answer, you just get confused and say, what are you talking about?
You can only lose if you're playing to win. If you're
All right, people, that is gold. And listen, when you're in a debate, I said it the other day, I said it about saying I don't know. If you're in a debate, someone asks you a question, asks for a statistic, asks you to elaborate on something, and if you don't know, say it. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. And you can even go back on something you said. So if you were to say something like, well, look at what happened in Grenada in 1984, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, someone says, well, let's look at the example of Grenada. And it contradicts what you said. Say it. Say, you know what? I got that wrong. I got that wrong. I misspoke. Apologies. Can we erase that because I was wrong? And that there's nothing wrong with that. Because a debate, a conversation, an argument is about looking for truth. It's two people, usually two, sometimes more, but let's just say two people putting arguments forward. It's a Socratic dialectic. We're putting arguments forward. We're questioning each other's position for the pursuit of truth. Let's try and find out what happened. If you go into a debate because you want to win, then and only then you stand the chance of losing. It's a really important point. Don't debate someone to prove them wrong. Don't debate to get a W. Debate in the pursuit of truth. It reminds me, there's a great quote from NA. Let me get it right. If you're not humble, what is it? Only if you're not humble can you get humiliated. So if you are humble in debate, you can't get humiliated because you're not there for a win. You're not there to attack the other person. You're there for the pursuit of truth. And you can only lose if you're trying to win. It's a really important point. Don't go into debates trying to win. Don't go into debates trying to embarrass someone. Get involved in debates because you're interested in the pursuit and location of truth.
Get confused and say, what are you talking about?
You can only...
And the mistake that fucking Beasley's making here and Sisson and all this crowd, because they're intellectually immature and because they are immature because they're young, they don't understand the idea of looking for truth. They don't understand the idea of the pursuit of truth. Socrates was all about that. That's what debate is. Let's try and, between us with opposing views, let's actually see what happens if we can resolve the contradictions between our opposing views, and we might discover a new thought, a new truth. But if you go in looking to win or to humiliate or to get one up on someone, you run the risk of losing. You can't lose if you're not trying to win.
You think? No, it's like whenever you don't have an answer, you just get confused and say, what are you talking about?
You can only lose if you're playing to win. If your pursuit is truth, there's no such thing as losing. There's only growth.
Now you say that Donald Trump saying the injustice that we've seen warrants commutation or pardons. You say that means he's advocating for violence.
If you have not fully thought something through to declare that something is true, I mean, that's really the essence of what this channel is all about. It's what launched this channel, and it's the continual repetition of that pattern. It's so easy to fall victim to that trap. And this is what it looks like.
Why is Enrique Tarrio in prison?
Yeah, so they uncovered with him his plot to overthrow
What
the
plot?
government.
Enrique Tarrio?
Yeah, and his organization.
What plot? Who's they? Give me some
prosecutors.
Give me some fucking data. Stop squinting at me and saying the prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court paper.
Yeah, we need that again because that's beautiful. Because this is what happens when Tim Pool knows that this bloke's his agenda is to humiliate Tim Pool. His agenda is to make him look stupid. And that's why Tim Pool is now getting angry. Emotions aren't necessarily good in debates. Emotion is an energy, but it's an energy that can often put you off course and off track. But in this instance, it's deserved because Tim Pool doesn't stand a piss chance in hell of losing at this point. And what he's actually saying is you're an arrogant, spoiled, self-aggrandizing idiot who is talking about who is saying with no evidence, no proof, no logic that people should be locked up based on nothing. You're a fascist, you're a little shit, and I'm about to smack you round the debate face. And fair play, because he deserves it. You know why he deserves it? Not because I want him to suffer, because he might actually fucking learn something.
What? Who's they? Give me some prosecutors. Give me some fucking data. Stop squinting at me and saying the prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court papers. All you know is the fascist machine state told you he should be in prison, and you're saying yes to them.
This is a battle over the role of actual evidence. Luke Beasley tries to claim that citing actual evidence is anecdotal evidence and dismiss that. It's about how Luke claims that he believes the story, even though he really clearly doesn't have a full understanding of the story. So then the question is, why do you believe that story without any evidence? Why do you clearly want the story to be true?
I believe
You believe E. Jean Carroll's story?
Yeah.
You really do?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
I don't know why she would have witnesses that she called immediately after.
How did she get in the room?
How did she get in the room?
How did she get in the dressing room? Bergdorf Goodman locks their dressing rooms.
I'm assuming it was open.
No, they don't know. It wasn't answered. They said, we don't know. It doesn't make sense. How was she wearing a dress that didn't come out till a few years later?
The reason Tim Pool is so effective right here is that he's asking logical questions that don't add up.
A lot of questions that were litigated in front of
Weird, right? Why didn't Trump bring her to the hotel he owned across the street?
Yeah. I'm not really interested.
How come
How come?
It's remarkable when he says, I'm not really interested. That seems to be a defense mechanism he continues to use when challenged.
How come? But you believe it?
No, I'm stating, oh, yes, I do believe it.
Because David Pakman does the same thing as a way of just not contending with it and trying to keep the upper hand and look like he's in control, like he's maintaining the frame of the conversation and be like, yeah, isn't that crazy? In this sarcastic way, as though he's kind of above it.
Nobody recognized the most famous man in New York walking into the Bergdorf Goodman.
Crazy.
You believe it?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
It's also substantiated by the fact that a bunch of people have had such interactions with Trump.
Where have you heard that before? A bunch of people have said this, so it must be true.
You believe Christina Hoff Sommers too?
I think Tim Pool meant Christine Blasey Ford because he's talking about Brett Kavanaugh. So this was a slip up. Perhaps that's why Luke gets confused here.
I don't actually know that case.
That was the Brett.
And that's why he shouldn't have got angry because he said Christine Hoff Sommers, which is a completely different person.
Kavanaugh won.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as he brings in Brett Kavanaugh, he understands what the case is.
You do believe her?
It has been yes.
Then watch what happens.
That she was afraid to fly?
Yes.
But she flew several times for vacation?
Yeah, people are afraid to fly.
You believe that she installed the second door in her home because she needed an escape?
I have to tell you,
but then she Airbnb'd it.
Especially on that case, I would only want to debate it if I freshened up on the details of it.
If you're not freshened up on the details and you can't answer these basic questions, why do you, at the very front, say you believe it?
He says it's madness. I believe it. Yes, I believe what CNN told me. Tim Paul, here's some basic questions. I'm sorry, I can't debate it because I don't know. I have got no evidence and I don't know anything about it. But you believe it, you twit.
So now the pattern is about to repeat again with George Floyd.
What do you mean, George Floyd?
What happened with George Floyd?
Are you going to make the fentanyl case?
I'm not going to make it. I'm going to ask you what you think happened.
Then he just doesn't have a response, and then he acts incredulous. Like, what a silly game to play, Tim. How could you possibly ask me that?
You're the one who brought it up. I was just curious what your belief was about it.
Yeah.
I think that someone kneeled. I think
he brought it up, and so he asked you about it, and then you asked him back.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
curious about what your opinion is on it.
I think you don't have one. I think you don't know what to say. I think.
Oh, I do know what to say.
I think you're
Derek
scared
Chauvin.
that if you say the wrong thing, someone's going to.
No, I'll talk. Sure. Derek Chauvin caused George Floyd to die because he had his knee on George Floyd's back neck area.
And what did that do?
Killed him.
No, but I mean, like, what's the medical examiner's reasoning?
Is it suffocation? Is the technical term?
No, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think you have a surface level tribal position where you didn't actually research most of these things, and you're just saying what you think you need to say.
A surface level tribal position. Spot on.
You can only lose if
it works well when you're sitting with Harry Sisson and all your teenage fans, but with someone with a very basic ability to argue, it falls to pieces hideously.
If you're playing to win. If your pursuit is truth, there's no such thing as losing, there's only growth. This is the perfect example of that. Luke Beasley just gets torpedoed by Tim Pool because he pretends to know what he's talking about, and he gets absolutely trapped.
It's a fantastic video, people, and there's so much to learn from that. It was quite disappointing for me to read Glass and a couple of other people in the chat saying that they don't debate anymore. Please don't. Please debate. Just remember what Warren said. Don't go in to win. Don't go in to win. Just stay calm. And when people say something, you're trying to find truth, and you can use what they say as well. You know, and you don't have to go, no, you're wrong. You've got that fucking wrong. No, you can just sort of say, well, hang on, can you be a bit more specific, because that doesn't seem to stand up. And you know, you can actually manipulate, not in a sort of a Machiavellian sense, but you can make your interlocutor feel like they're contributing to the pursuit of truth, which will make them feel good, even though what they're saying is usually bullshit. And you know, a thing I use all the time is I'll say to people, when I know they're wrong, when I know that their position is weak as, you know, wet tissue paper, I'll say, that's really interesting. That what you've said there is really interesting. And people like being told that. And then you take on board what they say, but you slowly unravel it. And then you add some specifics and you say, can you see why it's interesting that you said that? Because it's almost as if, you know, bring them in, let them know that, that you don't explicitly say, hey, we're in the pursuit of truth here, but you're talking with them rather than at or against them. But we can't stop debating, people. We can't. When we stop debating, we lose one of the greatest weapons of our people, you know, of our ideology. If people on the right stop debating, the left dominate the whole sort of sphere. And when the left dominate it, it's that we might as well just plug into CNN. We might as well plug everyone into CNN. You've got to be an outlier. You've got to be have the bottle to actually contradict, which means against speak. You've got to be able to contradict stupid ideas. Although I understand it can be difficult because some people just become absolute cunts. I've had fights. I've had people punch me during debates where I've been very calm. You know, I've done all the things I've just told you, and out of the blue, they've just smacked me in the head. Not because any other reason, but I've questioned. See, one of the things about the left is they don't have an argument. They don't have a position. They don't have specifics. They have a belief system. And belief systems are very different from logical, critical arguments. Belief systems are part of your identity. I've had conversations with people and they've said something to me and it's questioned a whole area of thought that I've relied on for decades. And I've had to go, whoa, if that's true, then I can no longer sit comfortably with the idea of for instance, the signifier and the signified. And I'll say that to them. You know, I'll say, wow, you've really just pulled the rug out of something I've believed in for a long time. And that's interesting. And it's a lovely moment because I've grown. Some assumptions that I've maintained for years because I've tested them and they've proved themselves time and time again. But someone has said something that's actually made me reevaluate what I think. And it's an amazing thing. And I'll be thinking about that for days, weeks, months, years, maybe the rest of my life. That's growth. That's what Warren Smith said. When it's not about winning or losing, it's about the pursuit of truth and potential growth. But I beg you not to stop debating because people with our ideas, people with our beliefs, if we do stop debating, the sphere of conversation will be dominated by the left. And we know what happens when that happens because it's happening in the UK. And look what's happening to the UK. I was going to go, but I've got to show you this video. I've got to show you it. It's only short. And it's one of the people I despise most on the internet.
In the chat, apparently Jimmy from Philly has been streaming us.
It's James from Philadelphia, Packer. Come on.
Yeah.
Nice one, James. That's an absolute pleasure. Hands dropped a $5 in. I get a stomach ulcer from this debate, Stooges. Do you mean these debate stooges? You mean that fella there that Tim Paul was arguing? Yeah, it's kind of hard work, isn't it? I understand that, but I also think these. Go on, Packer.
He was like an even more childish Justin Trudeau, wasn't he? That kid.
There you go. Yeah, who is probably one of his heroes. I'm just going to see if I've missed another super chat there. I've done hands. Latus has been on the firm 52 months. It's been longer than that, Latus. You've been around here for centuries, mate. You look like it anyway. Come on, Latus. I can't stop myself. Right, people. I've been going for 2 3/4 hours. It's 1:30 in the morning. Stick your hand in your pocket and help me out. Now, I'm going to find this. I've got to find this video. It might take me a couple of seconds. I'm sure it's a Warren Smith one, but oh yeah. I've got it. Right. Right. You're gonna I don't like David Pakman. Right. I've got no problem with him grifting, but he is 100% grifter. I don't think he gives a fuck about how society works. He's just lying in his pockets, right? I honor. Look, if there's a leftist who believes what they say, yeah, give them some money because they're doing a job. They're working. YouTube is work. It's hard work. I haven't got a problem with that. I don't trust Pakman. I don't think he believes what he says. I think he's an out-and-out capitalist. I've got no problem with capitalism, but he pretends to be a fucking socialist. But this is next-level grifting. This is beautiful. But when you watch it, and look, I don't mean it's not ad hominem as such. It's more like, what would you call it? It's more like ad visage. I don't know. I have trouble. I couldn't watch David Pakman if I was eating. There's something wrong with his mouth that I just can't stand. So
and his nose and his eyes are too close together, and his hair. Who has hair like that?
Yeah. Well,
Just
I mean, go on.
He's like an Aardman. Is it Aardman animation? Isn't he? He looks like his own Aardman animation almost. You can see it, can't you?
The thing is, Packer, I've never got as far as the nose and eyes and hair because I just can't get over what happens. It's like he feels the need to pronounce every. It's.
Hello, have I gone or has Chris gone?
Look, some better or worse person. Are we back?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it makes him a better or worse person, but it is certainly something that I can't help but notice. But that's not even the worst thing about this video. Well, in a way, it is. AAA says, I bought you a couple of teas. I hope you got them. What, tonight? I made you a video yesterday. Let's have a little look. Oh, you absolutely did. Yeah, you'll get your video. You'll get your video later. For sure. Nice one, AAA. Also, while we're here, Mr. and Mrs. Me in it. I cannot put Mr. and Mrs. Me in it or whatever it is you wanted on that brick because it's just too much. So I can put me in it, but if there's something else you want to put, let me know. But what you said yesterday, it's just a sentence, and it's really got to be, a brick's worth of writing. I think I said that earlier, didn't I? If you're not happy with that, I'll get your score back to you.
Keep it short.
Pardon?
Keep it short.
Yeah, well, I've got Ravenscroft. Larry of the Void says Chris. Hansworth says Chris is possessed. There's a dog out there. Right, so listen. Hello, Patty. When all I was talking to Mumford about Max Headroom the other day. Do you remember that lie? They pretended it was computer generated. It wasn't. It was just a bloke in a mask. It was so rubbish. It was promoted for months beforehand. Oh, this is this amazing thing. And everyone watching it was like, this is shit. This is absolutely shit. Right, people, you are going to see one of the most cringe grifts you've ever seen. It's beautiful. It's another Warren Smith. Warren, on the off chance you ever watch this or any of the 20 videos I've made using your content, if you don't want me to, I'll stop. But I only do it because they're good videos, and maybe you'll get a few new subscribers off me. Anyway, check this out, people. It's mind blowing. This is a great ending to the stream because you're going to love this. It's only a 7-minute video. We probably won't watch it all, but it's mind blowing. Here we go.
So in the day following the election, David Pakman posted this video.
The entire progressive media
Hang on a minute. Sorry. Yes, Carl, I've got the windows open because it's 32 degrees here at 1:30 in the morning. So I've got the main windows open. It was a dog barking. How can you hear a dog barking but not the farts? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, oh, look at Pakman. What a frightening figure. Anyway, check it. Mind blowing.
So in the day following the election, David Pakman posted this video.
The entire progressive media
Sorry again. This was the day after Trump's election win, right?
So in the day following the election, David Pakman posted this video.
The entire progressive media ecosystem is under a threat I have never seen before. We've never seen anything like this.
Claiming that there's a mass exodus of subscribers and subscription cancellations.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers.
Okay, not good, but you have 2.64 million subscribers.
He's got over 2.5 million subscribers, and he lost 5,000. Now let me tell you how YouTube works. When I go to Social Blade to see because I'm getting new subscribers recently, which is amazing. If you're new here, hello, bless you so much. But what YouTube doesn't do, it doesn't sort of show you, oh, on this day you got 2, on this day you got 3. What Social Blade does, when you get 100, it says you got 100. or when you lose 100. So that might have taken 3 months, but then it will say minus 100. So the day after the election, Pacman's obviously seen minus 5,000. I imagine when you got 2.6 million subscribers, it's more in the thousands rather than the hundreds like mine. Anyway, check it. I'll do my best not to interrupt.
Lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers.
Okay, not good, but you have 2.64 million subscribers. And this comes in the wake of all of their insistence that Kamala Harris would win the election. But it couldn't have anything to do with that. Let's apply some critical thinking.
We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that. And
what is that moustache? That's like a fucking 14-year-old doing his best. That's like Barkley's moustache. I mean, come on.
Subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up.
I'm David Pacman. My subscribers never go down.
Spoken like someone who just cannot fathom the possibility that you may be wrong. So it always just goes up. It can't be that people are unhappy with what I'm doing, because they're always happy with what I do. I do everything I do is great.
I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar, and every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
Dude, you have over 2.5 million subscribers. You lost 5,000 subscribers. That's a data point. It's indicative of something. But your livelihood is not at risk, not yet. If you continue down this road, perhaps but it's been one day.
What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 up. And they
look at that graphic, right? Up, 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 up. Tiny little drop there. Up, 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 up. Right there, like nothing. That is, I mean, the window to show. I guarantee the next day it just went up again. And again, it's because this is a grift. I wouldn't be surprised if he altered that graph to make that tiny little tail going down look like more than it was.
They are down.
That's the graph? You made it sound like it was the bottom just fell out of the stock market. This is like a chip, a minor glitch. It's slightly just gone in the opposite direction. It sounds like you're just so used to steady growth, not really needing to think about it. The moment that something changes, it's like, oh my goodness, there's got to be more to this.
It's not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations.
You can't fathom that perhaps you're just peddling nonsense, or that you're wrong, just flat out, that people are just tired of you being wrong. They feel like you're gaslighting them, and they're just tired of it, in which case this would be the logical thing to do, would be to stop paying for that. It'd be one thing if you were just watching the shows for free on YouTube. I mean, I'm watching it because it's slightly entertaining, but to pay for this nonsense, it would be logical to stop doing that.
Purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this, and you see a little decline, and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be.
What do you mean they're not doing it? This was one day after the election. What, you expect them to go down and up in the same day? Nice moustache.
Seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on.
Oh, he's figured it out. Let's hear it. What is going on?
It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, you know, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out.
I wouldn't be paying for that either. You're looking at someone doing the logical response, and you are terrified by it.
The reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk.
That's a bit of an overstatement. Everyone in left-wing media's livelihood is at risk.
Right wants us not to exist. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media.
This has nothing to do with the right wanting or not wanting you to exist. It's your subscribers that unsubscribed. It's your members who discontinued their memberships. This has nothing to do with the right.
And so when I lose 5,000 subscribers and Brian loses thousands and Ring of Fire loses thousands and everybody's losing thousands of subscribers,
then maybe that's indicating that you're doing something wrong. If you notice a pattern and it's happening to everyone that is peddling the same kind of content and the same message, rather than shaking your finger at the audience, perhaps you should reflect on that. That's an actual data point to learn from. Perhaps you're doing something wrong.
My request to you today is please resubscribe to the YouTube channel.
Please resubscribe.
The entire progressive media ecosystem is under a threat I have never seen before. We've never seen anything like this.
This is amazing. He's lost 5,000 out of 2.6 million. And the grift is the leftist ecosystem is under threat. And unless you resubscribe, it's something ridiculous like 50 quid a month, we're going to disappear and the fascists are going to take control. It's amazing, the gall of the bastard.
He just bought something big, isn't he?
The very same.
Go on, Packer, sorry, mate.
I said he's just bought something really big, isn't he? He's just bought a house or a yacht or a plane or something.
There you go. He's worth about 9 million, David Packman. It's just shocking.
Same thing. Legacy media, mainstream media, traditional media, it has been dissolving for years at this point, and this election was probably the last nail in the coffin. But describing your YouTube channel and Sam Cedar and these other people that you listed who I've never heard of as the entire progressive media ecosystem because you lost 5,000 subscribers in the last day is
consider this is the moment where we have to support independent progressive media. If it's not,
that's another way of saying, can you give me more money, please?
Not my show, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Consider getting a membership. Consider.
Let's just look at the logic of that. This is the moment where we need to support leftist media. If it's not my show, that's fine. So do you honestly think someone listening to that's going to go, yeah, that's a good point, actually, David. Click off of his show, go over to Sam Cedar and subscribe. He knows full well that is such a hollow, just the transparency of evil.
This is the moment where we have to support independent progressive media. If it's not my show, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Consider getting a membership. Consider it. We have a code. The new coupon code is
a minute ago, it doesn't matter if it was you, but you've got a code, yeah?
Not again.
I thought it didn't matter if it was your show.
Hang on a minute. What is the code? I missed that. What is the actual code?
Yeah,
your ear.
Consider getting a membership. Consider it. We have a code. The new coupon code is not again.
Not again. Is he literally referring to Nazi Germany? He must be. What else could not again? Or Trump winning again or something? That's ridiculous.
But it didn't matter if it was your show. Why do we need the coupon code?
Take a break until the inauguration. It's months, okay? Mental health break, do it. But when we start canceling the subscriptions,
take a break. Worry about your mental health. You know, it's but don't unsubscribe. Come back and don't unsubscribe.
We are in an algorithmic desubscription spiral right now.
And it's only been a day.
1 day. What did he call it? Well, I just need to hear what he called it again.
Don't unsubscribe, but come back and don't unsubscribe.
Hang on, before he says it, people, it's been 1 day. It's 5,000 out of 2.6 million. Listen to what he calls it.
We are in an algorithmic desubscription spiral right now.
It's only been a day. Wow, I didn't know 5,000 subscribers, leaving over a 2.5 million subscriber channel is an rhythmic desubscription spiral into chaos.
because when people start unsubscribing on YouTube, YouTube thinks, oh, we probably shouldn't recommend this content because it's
shit,
generating a lot of unsubscribes. So then the content doesn't get recommended. And then the message doesn't get out.
Oh, it's about the
good
message. And then, guys, the message doesn't get out.
The message.
There has
cool beans from Warren using the critical jinker there.
never been a movement that succeeded when they exited activism after a loss.
He's turning this into as though this is some larger noble fight, when at the end of the day, this is really just about you being able to make money.
No movement has succeeded when they take a loss and they go, I'm out. Never happened.
The response we see to a defeat is to blame other people for the mistakes that you're making. You're blaming other people for when you get it wrong. That's the response that we continue to see.
Consider getting a membership. If you want to understand what happened, I outline it in the book, The Echo Machine.
But after you've subscribed, buy my fucking book, The Echo Machine.
Please pre-order the book.
Then he twists off into all this Supreme Court and painting this picture as though it's about some larger political fight or movement of any consequence, when it's really just about you getting paid.
We are very worried. I would love to sugarcoat it, but we have never seen numbers like this, ever. Numbers this bad.
That's indicating that you're doing something wrong. If you notice a pattern and it's happening to everyone that is peddling the same kind of content and the same message, and everyone's turning on that and they're losing people, rather than shaking your finger at the audience, perhaps you should reflect on that. That's an actual data point to learn from. Perhaps you're doing something wrong.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. You might have noticed that while that was playing, I managed to tie a clameur on my barnet. Right, there you go. Love it.
Yeah, young Packer walked in, looked over my shoulder, said, "What the F is he wearing on his head?" and then walked out.
And did you say it's a clameur?
No, I said, "Why don't you ask him?"
And he didn't want
already walking off when I said that.
Oh, I love it, mate. I'll tell you what, these I've also got one downstairs, obviously. These are so good. When I go to the supermarket, this turns into my bag that I carry things home. You know what? I've seen women in the province, they take their clameur off, they put it on the floor, they put their baby in it, they grab two corners, they spin it round, and before they know it, the baby's strapped to their chest. They use them for everything. I've seen them make yogurt with them. Oi, Pax Max is coming over to Cambodia. He said, "Do you need me to bring anything?" I said, "Yeah, I want a food thermometer and some cheesecloth." Bless Pax Max. He didn't say, "Hey," he just went, "Okay." He said, "If you can find them on Amazon Germany, I'll get them and I'll settle him up when he gets over here." I'm going to start making caramel. I'm going to start making my own yogurt. I buy so much yogurt, and it turns out it's the easiest thing to make. You buy a bit of yogurt, you put some yogurt in a pot with some milk, you get it to a certain temperature, let it cool down, and you've got yogurt. And if you use cheesecloth, you can make Greek yogurt. Anyone in the chat made yogurt. It's a piece of piss. And here's the thing, Packer. Once you've made your first batch of yogurt, you never need to buy it again because you use a bit of the one you made as a starter for the next one. Like, I eat about half a litre of yogurt a day. That's about $3.50. That's a fucking lot of money over a month. So I'm going to be making my own yogurt. I can't wait.
Your own yogurt. Go for it.
Chris Dangerfield, yogurt maker. Pags has made his own yogurt. How did it go, Pags? Is it as easy as I think it is? I've got one of those. Pax Max is bringing me one of those digital thermometers so that I can. Because you have to boil the yogurt and the milk, don't you? Pags has done it. Anglo says Chris is going for. I tell you what, mate. Every time my missus, I got her to send me a video of the land today, but There's some other bits in it that I can't show you. I'll get some footage of the land so you can all see it. It's all very exciting. But I'll tell you what, Anglo, that house in the I've never put down roots. I've always rented. I never wanted to get married. I never wanted children. I never wanted to buy an house. But because I'm old now and because I'm head over heels in love with my missus, it's so exciting. But that house in the province is without a doubt my Colonel Kurt's fantasy. It's all come true. I absolutely love it. RPW Media. I thought that was Lauren for a minute, but it ain't. Hello, are you new in these parts, RPW? Nice to see thee, if you are. Pags made yogurt years ago. It went okay. There you go.
Jimmy's
yeah,
brother.
I can't wait, Anglo. I really can't. You know, pop out a couple of kids. No, and also because, hang on, Pack, because the land is so cheap out there and because the labour's so cheap, I didn't realise how big it was until the missus started showing me videos. It's fucking huge. Like, it's got 4 rooms, it's got a massive corridor, it's got toilets in each bedroom. You know, I couldn't have afforded anything like that anywhere else in the world. And also, land prices in Cambodia are going through the roof, which is beautiful for me because I'm going to cark it soon and I've probably got about 10, 15 years left at best. And I know that my missus and hopefully my children will have enough, will have an house and land that they can sell and keep them in money for, long enough for the kids to get older and start working themselves. So, yeah, I'm so excited because I never ever wanted to do anything like this, and I didn't do this because I suppose I better do it. I just wanted to, and that's mad. I tried to leave my missus. I probably told you. I tried to leave her twice. I said to her, "Look, I'm too old for you. It's not fair," and she said, "All right." And I left her, and I got home, and that night I was sitting there and thinking, "Hang on a minute. I've never loved anyone like I love her. I've never felt love from anyone like I feel from her. So if I can't be with someone who I love and who loves me, I'm not going to be with anyone. So is this my life now? What, just banging brass and getting drunk at the weekend?" And I thought, wow, what a rubbish life. Whereas now it's almost like a new life. How exciting. And I honestly believe that you do cark it if you've got nothing going on. If, I've got my writing, but the idea of having writing, a family, an house, a lover, I could live till I'm 80 at this rate. Good Lord. Anyway, half your age plus 7 is awesome. I don't know what that means. I'll try and work it out later.
I was just going to say, Chris, RPW Media is Jimmy's brother. He's got his own channel. I'm sure we've
okay. James from Philadelphia's brother. Health Freed in the UK, not a Dr. Robert says, "My partner loves that danger." Ah, what, your partner just watched it and heard me say it and went, "Oh, that's lovely." It's changed my life. I've never known love like it. Every other girlfriend I've had, right? 8 years, 2 years, 11 years, 6 years, 2 years. I left all of those girls. And when I left them and I finally got them out of the house after they wanted to gab about it for 10 hours, I was like, yes, yes. But this one, no, man, I ain't letting her go anywhere. I am head over. I've been with her nearly 7 years now. And I'm more in love with her today than I ever have been. It just keeps getting better. It's incredible. I mean, I feel blessed. And I tell you what, it done something to me. It done something to my, take that off, it's getting a bit hot now. It done something to my sense of self. It made me realize that I deserved something like that. I deserved to be loved. I deserved to have a family, which I didn't feel like that up until I was about, 46, 47. I just thought, that ain't for me. Who wants to be with me who wants to have a family with me? So yeah, it's like, it's, and also it has inspired my writing as well, because I love writing. It's one of the most important things in my life. But I won't go into all this. It's a little bit dry. Well, people, it's been 3 hours. 3 hours and 11 minutes. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning. I will be writing now and I'll be up all night, which is terrible. Anglo says, Dangerfield, that Asian bird, your ex you showed us was stunning. Yeah, she was hot stuff, but she was fucking cranky, man. You know what? Give her a massage, she has an orgasm. Literally. I said to her once, do you want a massage? She said, yeah, all right. So I just started going like that on her shoulders. She had about 5 orgasms. She was going, no, no, no. And it was much the same with the old in out. Just touch it on it and she's going. She was an absolute beauty, phenomenal body, beautiful face. And she was minted as well. Like, I mean minted. It was her that she had come round my house with a box. And I go, well, what's this? Oh, £900 pair of Cordovan boots from Crockett and Jones. I'll be like, sweet. You know, she'd just buy me gifts, like one a week, like £1,000 gift. And one day she says to me, right, do you want a new suit? And I'll be like, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, no, please don't have gone and bought one off the peg. She said, well, let's go and talk to your tailors and get it done then. I'll be like, sweet. $4,000 later. And actually a lovely bird. I was with her for 6 years. The first 3 years was when she was mental. But I've got to give her credit. I talked to her about it and she got help. And the second 3 years were amazing. But it got to the point where, and it was a really nice ending actually, because I went to Patong to get clean. I got clean. And when I got back, I said, I'm back on Thursday. She said, yeah. She said, I'll come and see you Saturday. Now, if you've been away for 11 weeks getting off smack and your missus isn't at the airport or isn't going to meet you at your house, there's something wrong. So I said to her on the phone, I said, have you got something to tell me? She went, yeah. And I said, well, you've made the right decision. I mean, I'd fucked about 20 birds while I was there as well. So she had made the right decision. But when I told her that, she went, oh, actually, I don't think I have made the right decision. Let's give it a go. And I was like, no, you've made the right decision. And we're still friends to this day. But she does get drunk and send me naughty photos. And it's... Did you see... Oh, Anglo, did you see the picture of me laying down on her pillows? Fucking hell. She only stood about 5'2". She's fucking massive. Oh, God. Yeah, actually, Anglo, just on the off chance you haven't seen it, I know most of the scrubs have. Hang on.
Nice one, Anglo.
Just on the off chance you haven't seen it, let me see if I can find it without taking too much time. Oh man, how am I meant to find this video? Hang on. It will be worth it, Anglo. It will be worth it. Just give me a couple of seconds. Oh, maybe I've got... Oh, no, here we go. Here we go, Anglo. This is just for you, my friend. I'll have to get it past the advertising. Right. So, Anglo, I got her to make a lockpicking promo video. I'm sure a few of you have seen this. It's a bit cheap, but in a good way. So, are you sitting comfortably, Anglo, and everyone else? We shall begin. You have to put up with my silly voice, but there's certainly a distraction. This is UK Bump Keys. I'm Chris.
And I'm Charlotte.
And tonight we're looking at padlock shims. A padlock shim is a small piece of metal used to exploit the space on a padlock between the body and the shackle.
Now, don't expect to pick any high security or generic Chinese and one of those sort of standard British hardware shop jobbies. They are everywhere though. You know, there's plenty of use for this tool. And basically, what you do, the tool goes in, and as you see, Charlotte's just opened that one just while we were talking. What if you have a look at the padlock? You'll see there's a couple of grooves in the shackle. What the padlock opens. Like I say, there's plenty of them about. You're going to do that one now, Charlotte?
I am, yes.
You kind of caught us off guard with the last one, didn't you? We were, I was busy explaining the.
You caught me off guard with sewing.
Yeah. The mechanism there. So basically, I'll take for it again. The shim goes in down the side between the shackle and the body, and then that turns. If you find a resistance, go the other way until the shim is facing inwards and like the wings kind of thing are facing outwards. So let's see how that's gone.
You get the idea.
There you go. So we've got 2 sets of padlock shims in the shop. Go and have a look. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I'll see you in bed. There you go, people. I've got to take that down. That ain't very nice, is it? Not nice for her. Right, listen, I want to thank everyone who donated. You still got a chance to put that 20 in if you want your name on the wall. You still got a chance to put a $5 in if you want to feed me. I'll check entropy. Fuck all happening over there. I'll check the buy me a coffee afterwards. Anyone who's donated over there, you'll get your video for sure. Thanks for everyone who donated. Give Packer some love, Packer. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate. It's only Sunday, isn't it, I suppose? So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Look after yourself, mate.
Cheers,
Ta-da.
Chris. Chris is a writer. He's got a Substack.
I have got a Substack. It's the top link in the description. You can use that if you want. The last 2 stories, the uncaring of Argumina Interferon is one of the best shorts I ever read. And Horse, Tiger is one of the best shorts I ever read. They're the last 2. So check them out if you want. Leave a comment. Tell them what you think of them. Maybe don't like them. I'd be interested in that as well. Cheers, Packer. Look after yourself, mate. Give Packer some love in the chat, people. He will approach your Kanatu. I'm going to play Chris's ancestors were busy lock-picking chastity belts. There's loads of lock-picking memes of people doing that, like, right, storming hot women with chastity belts on, and the locksmith sort of going. Funny among locksmiths and lockpickers anyway. I will be putting your comments on the screen. If you're new here, what link do you want to that video? I can't do that. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. A couple of people are going to send me emails about something. Always happy to help out. It's not James from Philadelphia, but I'm guessing it is. AAA, did you confirm what you wanted? Did you confirm? What did you want? AAA, tell me now what you want on your brick, because hello JP, you just got here. Good Lord, it was a classic, nearly 3.5 hours. Come on, AAA, if you're still here. James, I've got another one racked up, mate. Hello, Nigel. Cheers, Daniel. AAA, you've got a couple more seconds. Do you just want AAA on your brick? All right, maybe you can tell me another time because it's dragging now. Hello, John. Right, here we go. Here's a bit of music you might recognise. I will be putting your... Hello, Duper Guy. Ta-da!
All the world loves a lover. All the girls.
Okay, apologies. Right, AAA, people, I promised someone I'd do something, and I haven't done it. SE5. Right, listen, there's a scrub. Sorry, people, I did promise, so I've got to do it now. There's a scrub who's got a merch store. Now, you might want to confirm this in the chat. We are not mushrooms, because I'm not quite sure. But do you do any merch? If people tell you what they want, then you can do that. Is that it, or have I got it wrong? But it's something like that. But it's a merch store. He's a scrub. So if you want any kind of merch or a hat or a mug or anything. I've got 5 new Substack subscribers. How lovely. Oh, and a few more. 1, 2, 3 buy me a coffees, you lovely bastards. Right, where is that? Where is that? 2 and 1. 2 and 1. Right. Now the thing is, he kept sending me links and none of them worked. Right, this one works. Here you go, people. So this is a merch store. Nice one, AAA. I've got that. Yeah, there you go, people. So if you want a hat, a T-shirt, a mug, all the usual stuff, 2 and 1. I said to him, how do you pronounce that? He said, like you're buying drugs, you know, the old 1 and 1. So it's 2 and 1. I'll put the link in the chat now. There you go. It's tshirtstudio.com. Marketplace 2 and 1. I'll put the link in there a few times. But he is a scrub, so if you do want to buy an app with something on it or a mug, you know, we like to support each other around here. So there you go. I'll put it in there again, and I'll put it in the chat in a couple more streams as well, because I think it's you know, look here, look, you can even get a basic mug. Look at this one. Quite nice, actually. You can even get this nice Dangerfield mug there. Can you see my cursor? Dangerfield. But you give him the graphics as a Dangerfield T-shirt there. You can probably get all manner of scrubisms or whatever you want. Crackney Downs, 2 and 1, Fat Beats, Eat, Sleep, Get High, Repeat. Okay, so if you want anything, go and see him. He's a scrub, and it would be nice to support a scrub. Sorry, mate, I completely forgot that. But JP is on there. Anglo is on there, JP. Yes, he certainly is. It's amazing. It's turning out quite nice. I'll probably be running that promo for about 6 months, or about a year. Depends how long it takes to get the house built. And the house building depends how long it takes to raise the money. And with 8 super chats, it could be a couple of decades. Right, back to the music. I'll take it from the top again because it's never quite the same halfway through. Here we go, people. Thanks for a wonderful stream. The girlfriend's back tomorrow, so I probably won't be doing any live streams Monday. I don't know. I'll try and squeeze a few in, but definitely next weekend. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because I'm also working on this new novel. So there's a lot going on for me at the minute. But you know the score. When I've got time, I'll do them. It's not for lack of not wanting to. It's just a lack of time, motivation, and effort. Ta-da! I'll be putting your messages on the screen.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man. There's a someone who's waiting for you.
Cheers, back up.
Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man. All the world loves the lover. All the girls in every land.
Did I say hello to you tonight, Ellie? Hello, Ellie.
Joy of loving is to live in the world of man and God. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free,
See you later,
where
Glenn.
time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man bound. All the world loves a lover. All the girls.
He absolutely is smashing it. Fair play to him. He'll get banned soon though. Nice one, Barney.
In the world of man and God.
It's quite funny, actually, Anglo, you mentioned Tim Davis. So about, God, it must have been 2 years ago, I asked him, I said, do you want to do some influencer marketing with my business? He only had about 30,000 subs at the time. And I said, I'll write you a script, you record it, and then I'll edit it with some product photos and put some music on it and all that. And he'd done it. It weren't that good because he obviously had the script to the side of the screen. So he was going, have you ever thought about lockpicking as a hobby? And then he'd look to the side and then come back. And I thought, I can edit. I could probably edit all this. But I just forgot about it in the end. I just thought, this is going to be a lot of work. 30,000 subs. It might not. But now he's got like 200, 300,000 subs. I'm thinking of doing it now, but if I do it and put it live, he might get hold of me and go, you cheeky bastard. I agreed to that when I had 20,000 subs. But I'll obviously ask him beforehand. Thank you, Barney, and thank you, Packer, for those last-minute donations. Much appreciated. Look after yourselves, people. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I am now going to write my masterpiece. Look after yourselves, and it's a massive boy.